Yes, what a guess. We've got a midfield dynamo. No talking about myself, Stuart McCall. How are you doing, Stuart?
Good, pal, thank you.
Thanks very much for coming on.
No bother.
I must say I've admired the Barnet for afar for years. There's one question I wanted to ask you. Was it modelled on the women of Easterhouse in the 1990s?
I was actually born with this. I came out with a mullet, and I think in the last 50 years it's been in fashion for a couple of years throughout that 50 year. But no, it's I think people who haven't got hair are jealous of it.
It's a belter. What do you put in? Is it mousse?
No, hot water and that's it. No,
is it what, boil the kettle? Right, on to the old career, mate.
Right.
Born in Leeds to Scottish parents. Despite growing up there, always identify as Scottish?
Okay, yeah.
That wee okay there, can you just prove that?
No, listen, my dad always said, because my eldest brother was born in Hamilton, my sister Blackpool and myself in Leeds, because my dad played as a professional years ago, and he always said they only had a little old Mini, and the roads and what they are now, and he couldn't get up the road, because I always say, why didn't you get me born in Scotland? He says they started off, but I couldn't get up. So born in Leeds, but yeah, from anything, Jockey Wilson at darts, Alan Wells at running, anything, it was always Scotland. Yeah.
What was your team growing up?
Yeah, believe it or not, kiss the badge and all that. Thankfully, I've got it in black and white when I was at under 13s at Pudsey Juniors. Favourite player, Tony Curry, Leeds United at the time.
Right.
Totally different to myself. Tony was bags of ability. And favourite team, Glasgow Rangers. So.
And where did the Rangers come from, your dad?
No, not really. No, my dad was just a football man. Yeah, Hamilton Accies was probably my dad's team because he was born and bred in Hamilton. For me, cousins and my uncles, they were all, Rangers supporters. So it came from that side of the family. Did
you ever get up to watch Rangers when you were a kid?
Yeah, believe it or not. First game, I remember getting on the supporters bus in Hamilton. And then, I don't know if they do it these days, they did a sweep for the first goal scorer. So I draw out Rangers 9. Brilliant, big Colin Steen it was. Cousin Billy draws out Rangers 2. Sandy Jardine at the time it was. Dundee at home, I remember, I think it was only 11, 12, can't remember. Got the game, blah, blah, blah. Big Colin Steen goes through round 1, rounds the keeper, just about empty net. Boy size him down, penalty kick. But I'm still thinking, centre forward shortly takes a penalty kick. Up steps Sandy Jardine, don't he? Puts it in the top bin. Cousins jumping all over me.
Most did he win?
Listen, in them days, I don't know who it was, but I was laughing at him. Leave it right back, you've no chance. And then Sandy steps up and bangs it in. So that was one of my early memories. Every time I used to come out every school holiday, and if Rangers were away, I used to go to the Accies games, and if I could get a ticket for the Rangers games at home, I used to go there.
Brilliant. As you said, your dad Andy was a player. Any good?
Again, totally different to myself. He had ability. He was, I've got to say, when I was born, he'd finished by then, But he played with Matthews and Mortensen at Blackpool. He had a good career,
Matthews, man.
In the 50s, and went to Leeds and played with John Charles and Jack Charlton, people like that. But yeah, no, I think looking back when he'd finished his career when I was born, I think that was a mistake, if I'm honest. But my mum says always a good mistake. But yeah, he was. Yeah, he made a good career out of it. I won't say a good living, because in them days, I think when he was at Blackpool playing with Matthews and Mortensen, in the summer, he used to work at Blackpool Pleasure Beach.
Imagine the donkey ride?
Doing a big wheel. Honestly.
Did he? Yeah.
Yes, it just shows you in them days. He used to jump on a tram and go to the games with all the supporters. Wow. Can you imagine that nowadays?
We did that at Peterhead. We do it away games, we travel with supporters. I get fucking dog's abuse after the games, so I've had a nightmare.
Every game?
No. Was it your dad that got you the bug then?
To be honest, all my family, mum, dad, brother, sister, they're all sporty. So I used to go to all the games with my dad as a wee boy, and played from an early age. So it was just all family orientated with football, sports minded.
I know I said you got a big brother. Who was a better player?
Probably him.
Was he really?
Yeah. No, Ali's 20 years older than me. So, but I used to go watch him and my brother-in-law Alan play Saturdays and Sundays. But no, they were defenders. They could just head and kick it.
Not interested in that. They would never get on this show. Came through the youth system at Bradford. Well, what were the days like as an apprentice back then?
Yeah, brilliant. To be honest, I used to play for a side in under 16s last year at school. And everyone else had been taken on. 4 boys had been taken on at Leeds, 2 at Arsenal, 2 at Huddersfield. And I hadn't been taken on. We played Bradford youth team, and I think it was a case of who's available, who's not been taken on. Oh, the wee ginger-haired boy in the middle of the park who's, 4'6" and weighs 8 stone. Hopeless I was. And anyway, they took me for a trial. So I wasn't there through the ranks. I went at 16.
Oh,
signed on my birthday,
okay.
yeah. 16 to 18, and in them days there was 2 apprentices. We had to do everything, clean the baths, 32 pair of boots I did every day, did the dugouts, did the pitch, divvied the park, everything. Just got there at 8 in the morning, left at 6. It was a proper, you'd loved, a good thing, because there were only 2 apprentices, we trained with the first team, so you're right into it. But the jobs and everything, which the boys don't do nowadays.
Did you enjoy doing the jobs?
I did. I took a pride in, I had 32 pair of boots to do each day. And I used to take a pride. I mean, it wasn't the greatest mug to look at, but I used to shine them that I could see my mug in the boots. It was, some of the boots were brilliant. I used to take a pride in it. And I think that was, it's all about standards. And you'd be known if, and then some people that won't give you great tips at Christmas. You always used to leave a little bit of, not polish. Yeah, didn't polish them as well as I would do the other ones that give you a tenner and that.
I always ask everyone, your debut, you remember it well?
I do, yeah, because I played it right back against Reading, first game of the season. Bradford, Division 3 it was in them the old days. We beat Reading 3-2. 5,001 there. 5,001. Yeah, 5,001.
And did you know you were going to play before the game, or was it just...
I did, because I think all the right backs had injuries, flu, viruses, and I was a midfield player. And it was Roy McFarlane at the time, great England international. And he put me at right back, and I had a couple of games there, then I got brought out of the team. But yeah, I remember it well. Nice to start with a victory.
Was there anyone who really took you under their wing, and on the opposite side, was there anyone who was really, really hard on you as a young kid?
No, I think it was lucky at Bradford, because we were in the bottom division when I went there, Division 4. And it was an old Scottish man, George Mulhall, and Labby Robertson, the coach, both Scottish. And I think they took to me, because I remember I remember went as a week before my 16th birthday. My mum, we had to go see and speak to them to see if they could sign the forms for a 2-year deal. And it was 20 quid then, and my mum were getting 15 quid for lodgings and things like that. And I was happy, but I was thinking, all my pals had gone to Leeds. And anyway, mum had gone in with George into the office. It was a testimonial game that night. A couple of wee drams, talked about Scotland. Next minute I've come out, I've signed for 2 years. I didn't even know. My mum had signed my forms, and that's it. So, 2 years there. And then Roy McFarlane came in, who was obviously a great player for England and top international. So he always had an influence with his standards that he set. And then Trevor Cherry and Terry Orth come in, again, both internationals. So at that low level, we were fortunate to be coached and managed by not so much great players, which there were, but people that what it was like to be a professional. Do the right things. And I think that's what a lot of football's about. You can have all the ability in the world, but if you haven't got the desire and the determination, I always say it, and I've done it many years as a manager, it's easier to release boys who've got the skill but haven't got the will and don't want to go that extra yard. And it's harder when there's somebody, you see a kid who gives absolutely everything to be a professional, but you just know he's not going to be good enough for that level. But in the majority of the times, I've seen people go who've had all the ability in the world. It's no good having ability if you've not got the heart and if you've not dedication, for me. You can have all the ability in the world, but they'll drift out of the game. The lads that'll do everything to be a player might not have the greatest ability. You can always work on your technique, and you can't work on your desire. You'll always see them making a living out of it.
It's mad how many guys who had top careers like yourself, and the main thing is the hard work. The ability is not the big thing, it's the hard work. It's mad.
Even now, Sam, I'll be honest, you look at players and somebody said to me, he's got everything. I says, well, has he? Oh, he got left foot, right foot, big, strong, can run, do this. Yeah, but has he got everything? What do you mean? Has he got that desire? Does he want to be a player? That's not everything. If you've not got heart and you've not got the desire to do it and the determination, for me, you won't be a top player. You look at all the top players who are going back years, starting off with, I remember Keegan. Keegan was probably an average player going back years. People probably wanted, you're sure remember Kevin Keegan.
Was he an average player? Huh?
He was probably an average player, but his work ethic and his desire got him to a level where he was a top class player. And if he didn't have had that desire originally, he wouldn't have got that far. There
you go, young kids watching this, top manager, top player telling you, desire. Playing in the lower leagues, how crucial was that to your development as well? Did it toughen you up?
Yeah.
I've played in them, they're tough, aren't they?
Aye, but I think the good thing is, I think, like I say, 4 of the boys joined Leeds United at the time. Leeds United were in Division 1, which is Premier League now, and we were at Bradford in the 4th Division. 3 years later, the 5 or 6 guys that joined Leeds were all out of the game. I went in at Bradford, bottom of lowest of lows, and got my opportunity because they didn't have a big squad. You were training with the first team, you were right in it, and you had to grow up. I mean, I was like a little boy and 6 stone ago, and it was, it toughens you up and you get on with it, and it was a great learning curve for me. And I got to play man's football rather than being, I'm at Leeds United, but I'm playing in juniors, I'm playing reserves. You're just thrown right in, and that was good.
Sorry to keep asking you about these days as well, but you think that's important as well, just to play games as young as you can, first team games?
Definitely. You know, it's all right playing all these, we go back to England, 20s games or 23 games, development games, and you're learning this and learning that. Get out and play some games. You train all week to want to play on a Saturday or a Tuesday, whatever it may, where the result matters. No disrespect, the development games or whatever. Yeah, your development is through the week getting coached. That's where you're developing. Go and play games where the result matters, where it absolutely means something to win a game. Or if you're winning 1-0 with a couple of minutes to go, you'll learn how to manage the game and win the game, even at a young age. You know, go and do the things. And I think you only get that way with football, competitive football.
Brilliant. You won in Division 3 in 1985, and then the Bradford fire on the day of the handover. How tough was that for the city and yourself? Obviously, I think your dad was injured in it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Horrendous. I mean, you know, you never like going back them days. But yeah, it was. I had 8 or 9 of my family there, and unfortunately, you know, my dad got badly burnt. I think 23% burns, and you know, the aftermath after it. Well, you're trying to find people and make sure they're okay and that. And you know, I ended up finding out my dad was at Wakefield, Pinderfields, not in Bradford. Bradford had 3 big hospitals where all the injured were going. But I found out my dad was at Wakefield, but that's where the more serious burns had gone. So I still had my kit on, me and my brother. He drove me to Wakefield, Pinderfields. And he says, we're just tidying your dad up, sorting him out, you better see him. So we walked down the corridor, and the nurse just stopped and says, there's your dad. And I automatically just looked at this bed here, and the guy in it had big bubbles on his face, and I didn't recognise him, and I just sort of collapsed and screamed. And the nurse grabbed me and says, no, this is your dad here. And my dad was at this side of the bed, and he had all creams and things on his face and bandages on his head and his hands. He'd had skin grafts. He was going to have skin grafts. But at least I could recognise him, and he knew who I was, you know, and it was, that you know, split few seconds from thinking, my dad's unrecognisable to, you know, so anyway, he came out of it. I think mentally was as bad as anything. He had skin grafts on him. And he always joked, he's passed away now, my dad, but he used to joke to me, I used to go see him every day I used to go visit him at 2 o'clock after training, and then at night time. And the one day I didn't go visit him, Princess Di came to visit, and she went to it, came in a helicopter, landed on the ground, it was all hush-hush, and went round all the, you know, I think they had 8 or 9 people there who'd been severely burnt, and the families, and met all the families. And I went in that day, my dad's got a big smiley face. Just met Princess Di. She said, get away. He says, fine.
So you could have been a prince. Bonnie Prince Charlie. If you'd have met her, no doubt. See, after that incident, did you establish a special bond with the club?
Yeah, I think everyone did, to be honest. I certainly did. I think from that onwards, nearly, well, for the next few weeks, we were going to, you know, funerals, fundraisers for the burns unit. And and the bond between certainly the people that were involved that day in the club will always remain. It'll never be forgotten. I always go to the memorial every year on the 11th of May, and it's certainly, you know, that made it my club then. If you know, it's always a club that I've held closest to my heart.
Was that incident as well probably why you stayed at Bradford a bit longer?
Yeah.
There was interest for Leeds, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, as a kid, obviously being born, I was born, I lived for a year a corner kick away from Ellen Road. Dad used to play there. They had a big contingent of Scottish, you know, players, Billy Bremner, Peter Lorimer, Eddie Gray, George Jordan, Gordon McQueen, David Harvey. So I used to go to Leeds, home and away, I followed them. And obviously Leeds and Bradford, there wasn't any real rivalry then because Leeds were like top of Division 1 and Bradford in the 4th Division. But anyway, as we got on, we and after the fire, we played at Odsall rugby ground at Bradford for a year while it was developing, and we played Leeds. And I was injured at the time, and at half time, all of a sudden there was a big chip van, and the Leeds fan had kicked it down the terrace and because it was a big open terrace, and it had landed and big black smoke everywhere, and it just brought the horrendous, memories for everyone, Bradford fans in the main stand, of what had happened 12 months earlier. And the Leeds fans came on the pitch. Bradford were beating them 2-0, and it was like hooligan element. And from that day, and incredibly enough, of all the thousands of Leeds supporters there, the lad that had done it was a little lad I used to go to school with. And it was and he was a little arse, if I'm honest. He wasn't a football fan. He was just there, and the kicked rampage this chip van, it had gone over and exploded in flames. And from that day on, I could never go and play for the Leeds in my head. You know what I mean? Even though I supported Leeds all my life, it'd been like being disloyal, to the people of Bradford. And I had a chance at Bradford when Billy Bremner was manager, who I used to watch as a kid. He wanted to sign me. I went to Everton, wanted to sign me. And then even when I was at Rangers, Howard Wilkinson was at Leeds. So 3 times I had a chance to sign for, the team I used to follow as a kid. And just through loyalty, decency, I would never have done that to the fans of Bradford.
If you ever get the Leeds job, we'll cut that bit out. Made captain at Bradford at 21. How special was that to you after, as you say, everything that had happened?
Yeah, it was just listen, everyone was kid. In them days, it's like something now. It's one thing in football. I think leadership is lacking. Yeah. From all the clubs I played, I was lucky enough to play at some, top clubs. You always had 6, 7 lads that you'd look around could be captains, were leaders. Nowadays, whether it's been through academy and you don't get responsibility put on you, I don't know. But even at the top clubs now, you look at maybe Celtic, you take Scott Brown out of Celtic or whatever.
When he's not playing.
Where are the leaders? Even at the top clubs. I was at a thing with Pep Guardiola the other week, a Q&A with a lot of the top managers there. And he was actually saying the same thing. Even though he's got Vincent Kompany there, he says from his day growing up at Barcelona, the lack of leaders in the game. And I've found that for probably a dozen years now. And it was whether they're not getting brought up differently, but again, this academy, the mollycoddling, you get everything put to you and given to you, and you don't maybe have to fight that little bit for you as much at the top level. And I just think, because the responsibility is sometimes taken out of the player, everything's done for you, even whatever it may be. And I think the lack of leadership is key. But yeah, to be captain at 21 was great, but it was just got on with it.
Got on with it, wasn't it? But see what you're saying, all the stuff about modern day football. See if you went into a club and you were promised, say, 5 or 6 years, would you go back to the old ways?
Yeah, I mean, them days are gone for now.
Is that why as well, do you think? Because managers didn't get as long?
I'll be honest, even at the last job was at Scunthorpe, people come to me and say, I've got a great kid at the under-16s, and next year we're having an under-23s, and I've gone to have a look at a couple of lads and think, yeah, bring them in. But really, you're only going to get, I think the average span of a manager is 11 months down there at the minute, and it's a season. So why are you thinking about kids that are coming through? Now, if you could know, I know it's a results-based industry, but if you know you're going to have 3 years or 5 years, whatever it may be, 3 years, you can then actually put things in place to get the kids and put some markers down. This is why you want to be. Listen, first of all, your work, your technique, everything, football, you're there to be a footballer. You're not there to be a groundsman, you're not there to be a boot cleaner, but you also need responsibilities and learn. Listen, you've got to do these things sometimes. And respect, I think respect's huge. Yeah.
Okay, great. Went to Everton. Why Everton, and why did you feel it was the right time to go?
Oh, well, listen, I've been at Bradford from 16 to 24, and believe it or not, 21, I think Sir Alex and Archie had come down to watch me for Bradford Halifax when they were at Aberdeen.
Right.
Then I've got the paper cuttings. David Hay offered 100 grand when he was at Celtic.
So did he, right?
Aye, could have been a green and white hoop, not. And then, so all along, I've got linked with Liverpool, linked with Arsenal, and because of what had happened at Bradford, I always felt another year, we can get promoted another year. Anyway, went into the final year. Me and John Hendry, he's from Kirkintilloch, right enough, John. Right. We were both contracts were up, we were going to leave. Chairman says, listen, end of season 3, let's go out with Magaluf, we'll say farewell to you. So we go out with Magaluf, right, couple of beers, putting drinks in. Next minute, me and John, without knowing, had signed an extra year's contract, for
no chance.
Yeah. So we said, do you know what, we'll give it another year. And it was the first year the playoffs came in, down in England. And Middlesbrough beat us. We got to playoffs, Bradford got to playoffs, and Middlesbrough beat us. Because what I wanted to do, my ambition, was to play at top level with Bradford. It was always to play at top level, but if I could have done it with Bradford. Anyway, Colin Harvey was in the stands that night against Middlesbrough. So it wasn't me desperate to leave. I'd been at Bradford for 8 years. I could have left after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I wanted just to stay and give it one crack. Everton, just a great club at the time, and great players, so it was a no-brainer.
How big a club is Everton?
Yeah, huge. It is. And you know, it was disappointing because it was side that the team was just breaking up after having successful seasons when I joined there. But yeah, fan base, brilliant. It's a great club, and just wish they could have had a little bit more success.
Who were the top players in that team that you went to?
I think everyone was international. I'd gone from being a sort of a big fish in a small bowl at Bradford, you know, to this little fish, and I was in awe really for a long time with Peter. Big Southall in goal, Graham Sharp up top, Sheedy, Ratcliffe. Wow. You know, they had top players. Trevor Stephen, Gary Stephen had just left to come up to Rangers, but they had a top side. Yeah.
A Southall character, huh?
Do you know? I think he didn't drink, Nev, believe it or not. Right. You know, I don't think he could trust himself if he'd had a drink. But yeah, he was a character. And I never thought I'd play with a better goalkeeper because he was unbelievable. The size of him, his frame, he was incredible. But later on in life, I think I did play with a better goalie.
Well, and you got him, huh?
Well, I'll leave that for later.
What about Peter Reid, though? Because obviously he was your position. Do you know, England international. Is he a top man?
He was, and people won't remember this because people think of Reid at the time, and he was a great captain. But this is talking about leadership. So when I went in there, I was playing midfield with him. Actually going through a bad time, Peter. He just had a dip in form. The crowd were beginning to get turned on him a little bit. But he was coming past me to get on the ball and win it and play it, and then he'd give it away or whatever. And you know, but he still wanted the ball. And I'm like that. And he's having to go Big Sharpie up front for not holding it up. And I'm thinking, if I were having a dodgy time like he is, I'd be hiding. But no, that's when he showed his leadership and character. It wasn't about him as a player. He was doing the best for the team. And they had so many in them days that were leaders like that. So I learned a lot off Reader because he would have it's easy to play when you're confident. It's like, oh, give me the ball, I can play. He was actually having a bad time. He was going demanding the ball and getting us playing. And I'm thinking, big pair of balls he had, to be fair.
Brilliant. You made your first Scotland appearance while you were playing there. Was there any chance you playing for England?
Oh, that's a long story.
Go for it, we've got ages.
No, it's too
My missus is working till 6.
I'm sure this has been covered. Listen, I got called up for England, Scotland 21s, both same time. Some day, I've come out Bradford training, get a call, secretary comes, I'm in the bath. Secretary comes in, it was a male secretary by the way, before you start. Comes in, he says, oh, great news, you've been called up for Scotland under 21s. I went, you're kidding me. Brilliant, absolute dream come true. 5 minutes later, comes down, bang, still in bath. Better news, you've been called up for England 21s. I went, oh, I'm joking, no. Anyway, got a bath, no mobile phones in them days. He says, right, you need to make a decision, it's out there. So Alex Ferguson was a 21 manager at the time. Dave Sexton was the England under 21 manager at the time. Both phoning the club, what's your decision? I couldn't get hold of my dad, didn't have a mobile phone. My heart and everything on me was Scotland. Spoke to England, spoke to the chairman at Bradford. In his eyes, if I play for England, they'll get more money from me when they sell me. Trevor Cherry was the manager, England international. They're all pushing me towards England. At that time, in Scotland, they only had one Anglo, Brian McClare. All the other players, the Scotland national team, were Aberdeen, Dundee United, Rangers, Celtic, Hearts. And I got sort of forced to England. I got home that night, little council house in Leeds, me and my mum, phone goes. Mum goes, it's Jock Steenfier, who was a manager of the national team.
No way.
I went, aye. I went, hey Jock, how's it hanging, big man? How you doing? Thinking it was John Hendry. I went, oh, this is Mr. Steen. I went, aye, all right, Jock. Fucking shut the fuck up, John, and get on with it. He says, no, Stuart, this is Jock. Honestly, tears started rolling down my face. My phone was like that. Mum thought something had happened. I says, really? He went, yeah. He said, I'm just ringing you up. He used to know my dad from Hamilton. I never knew this. My dad had actually wrote Jock a letter to say there's a wee boy playing in England who was actually Scottish. And obviously,
you'd have a look at him.
Fergie had come to look at me and pick me. And do you know, what about that? So he rings me up to say to me, I understand you've made your decision. I just want to wish you all the best for your career. Tears were rolling down my face. I thought, that's it. I was shaking. I says, thanks ever so much for this thing. Put the phone down. I said, Mum, that's it. I'm going in the morning. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to Scotland. 100%. It's always what I wanted to do. Go to Scotland. Get up that morning.
Put the kilt on.
Put the papers. Pick the papers up. McCall rejects Scotland, McCall is an Englishman, all this all over the papers. I went in and I said to her, I'm not, oh no, you've made your decision now, son, you're English, you're going to... I was like that. Oh, I didn't say to Jock, I'm changing my mind, but I thought, what a cat. Now, I couldn't imagine Sir Alex ringing me up and saying, oh, wish you all the best of your career. It'd have been Getsy. But I thought, unbelievable. Anyway, cut long story short, I go away with England under-21s to Turkey. And most people have heard this story, it's a true story. If you get on in a qualifying game, that's you're English. So I'm a sub, so I'm thinking, right, 45 minutes, maybe get on at half time, don't get on. 5 minutes to go, Dave Sexton says, go get yourself warmed up. I'm thinking, 5 minutes ago, I'm not going to change the game. I can never change the game anyway, because I wasn't even a goal scorer or anything. I'm thinking, they're only doing this as insurance policy, because if I get on a park, that's me. They can forget about me. If I get any better, then they'll pick me. So I go behind the goal to warm up. Tony Cotty shouting me, the gaffer wants you on. I'm giving me a diffy. No. Come on. Actually, coach come round, he's dragging me on. I'm getting into it. I threw my shin pad out. We have no shin pads, can't get on. Shin pads are giving me, snap my tie ups, do everything. There's a picture of me, Dave Sexton got his arm around me with England kit, on the park, on the touchline, ready to go on. The referee blows his whistle. I'm thinking he's shouting me on. Honestly, if you could see my heart was down there, I was absolutely like that. And it was the final whistle. And I went, it was the biggest, sometimes you talk about luck in your life. And in football, you have bad luck, good luck. For me, that was just a piece of luck, because the referee could have, 30 seconds later, they'd been on the park. I probably never played for England, the players there. But fortunately, so I came back, never played. England won in the international that night at Turkey. We went and watched the full team 8-0, flying back with Peter Shilton and Mark Wright and Brian Robson and Edie and all that, drinking champagne and everything was great. And I'm thinking there, when I get back tomorrow, I'm changing it. If even I never get picked by Scotland again, I'm going. So I went back and I said to him, listen, thanks ever so much, appreciate you going, but my heart is with Scotland. If I never ever get selected again, it's with Scotland. And then 2 years later, I got called up as an overage player against England. First cap, England against Gazza, down at Forest Ground. I think England beat us when Gazza went off after 18 minutes. He went, you're too good for me. No, he didn't. I think I might have done it. Funny, against and
did Alex Ferguson speak to you about it? Has he ever spoke to you about it?
No, well, he spoke to me, but never brought that up.
Mentioned it.
But I felt, that just sort of shows you the person Jock Stein was. For him to ring me up and ring me up and go, what the fuck are you thinking of? You know what I mean? What are you doing? Dad's wrote me a letter saying you want to play for us. But to say, I know it's been a tough decision, son, I wish you all your best in your career.
Amazing story, eh?
True.
Brilliant. Back to Everton. You obviously played in the Merseyside derbies. Liverpool were brilliant at that time, weren't they?
Just a bit.
How do they compare to Celtic Rangers?
Well, to be honest, I've gone for the most friendliest derby, because you used to go to Wembley and you'd look we went to Wembley a couple of times with Everton, and the coach would be going by and you think, is that Liverpool coach, Everton coach? It's mixed.
Would it be mixed,
Oh, mixed coaches. In the Cup, there was a little place for Everton fans. They had about 100 at Goodison. In them days, there was a little place behind the goals for Liverpool fans. You know what I mean? They used to go watch a game. Imagine that, Rangers Celtic game. Families were split. You know what I mean? One brother would be Liverpool, one would be red, one would be blue. And it went from the most, like say, friendliest to the probably most ferocious. I remember my first game, first Old Firm going. I played in 10 Merseyside derbies and won the last one. I'd played 10, drew 5, lost 4, whatever it was. And as you say, them days, used to have a really good Whelan and McMahon in Middle Park and enjoy that battle. But up top, they had Rush, Barnes and Beardsley. 3 world-class players. Brilliant. So even though the game was really tight, one bit of magic, bang, and you were... So invariably used to beat us. Big Gary Gillespie signed for Celtic. I signed for Rangers. We'd play together. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to haunt me. Thankfully, first Old Firm game, Rangers managed to win at Parkhead 2-0. And I thought, at least I beat the jinx, because Gary used to have one over me on all the time. But the rivalry there, although obviously ferocious, but most friendly probably derby in the fact that families can mix. See, because you grew up as a Rangers fan and you knew what the Celtic and Rangers derby was like. Did you find that strange that they were so friendly with each other? Yes, probably. I was surprised that you had the same... I mean, listen, I'm playing Sheffield derbies. It don't matter. Rangers and Celtic, obviously, for everything that goes with it, the history and religion and all that put in a melting pot, massive rivalry from years and years gone back, is probably at its height. Sheffield derby, to Sheffield fans, it's the biggest derby in the world. Leeds, Bradford, West Yorkshire derby, still quite big, you know what I mean? Liverpool, Everton, so they've all got their own importance, their own supporters. But yeah, I thought I was surprised that was the case. But once you get there, you know, as I said, you know some families, you'd go and meet people, oh, your sign is this and blah, 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 and little lad's got, how's he got a Liverpool kit on if he's your boy? Oh, it's his mother's side, you know, and you're thinking, imagine having 2 kids of Rangers and Celtic top on.
It'd be leather, right, on to Rangers. When did you first hear of their interest at Everton?
Yeah, believe it or not, probably about 3 weeks before Graham left to go to Liverpool, I got a phone call from a journalist asking me in the summer would they have interest coming to sign for Rangers. And again, I'm thinking, it's my mind up this.
You don't need to say journalist, Jim White.
No, do you believe it? Do you know what? To this day, I genuinely don't know who it was. I hand on my heart, I don't know who it was. And he actually asked me what school I went to. I'm going, what school? I think what he was basically saying, would I play for Rangers or was he a Celtic man? Anyway, I just says, I was happy at Everton. I had 3 great years. I really enjoyed my time at Everton. But Rangers had been the club, if somebody had said as a kid who we wanted to play for, it would have been them. So, and then lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, Graham leaves and he goes to Liverpool, and then he goes to close season, don't hear anything. Pre-season starts. Peter Beardsley actually joins Everton, I think from Liverpool, went pre-season to Austria, and I got a phone call saying it's back on, Trevor Stevens leaving to go to Marseille, his deal's back on, because it was a 3 foreigner rule, and I was classified as Scottish, even though I was born in England, I was classified as Scottish, could play for Scotland. But again, I'd never heard of Walter Smith. You know, down in England, and didn't know who Walter Smith was.
So where had Walter been before, just Dundee United?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah, I think he come with Graham from Dundee United, but I'd never, down in England, obviously Graham Souness you'd heard, had played, watched. I'd not heard of Walter, but still wanted to sign me. So, you know, and once I found out Howard Kendall, they wanted money in for Everton. So he was happy for me to go. I had one club happy for me to go, and one club wanted me. So it was a no-brainer, and it was incredible.
See, in the days, would you meet the manager first before you signed? Would he try and sell the club to you, or did you not even need that?
No, I remember getting a flight, and I thought the flight was... I had to be up for sign by 12 o'clock European deadline Thursday night, and I was flying into Edinburgh, and there was I remember Howard Kendall ringing me up, and I picked the phone up, and he says, he knew, I think he knew, and I knew. So we've had an inquiry from Rangers. I'm just wondering if you'd like to go. Oh, I take it you're in your house at the moment. Yeah, I'm just in the house. Ding bong, the next flight to Glasgow. You know, like that. Sorry, what's that? So, but I was set to come up, so I had to get up before 12 o'clock, as I said, and there was delays in flights. I was like, listen, it's strange, I don't need to speak to anyone. I'm looking money, we need to sort the contract out. It doesn't matter if it's less money. I'm going to play for the Rangers. It's not because so finances, whatever, speaking to manager didn't matter. It was the fact that the chance. Anyway, I flew up to Edinburgh, went in David Murray's big office. Archie had come to pick me up. Spoke to David Murray, bang, into Glasgow. I had to get there. Archie drove like a 2 lanes going into one, and I can see it flashing, cones and everything. 2 lanes are going into one. Oh, you love it here, Archie. Next minute, cones are getting smashed all over the motorway. I'm thinking, fuck's sake, I'm not going to make a medical here. It's like that. Anyway, get in, do a medical. Thankfully signed Thursday evening, signed before the deadline. Trained on the park on the Friday. I think they just beat Queen's Park 6-0 in a cup on the Tuesday. Thankfully, I knew, because I've been playing for Scotland, I knew the goalie, I knew McCoist, Moore, so I knew a few of the players. Training at Ibrox, I'm looking around it. All the coloured seats in them days, remember they had all the multicoloured seats? I thought this is a dream come true. Got to Hearts, thought it's 45 minutes. I thought, fucking, we've played some good stuff. 1-0 down. That's when the goalie went, Scott Crabbe's shot, he went, oh, it's going by your hand, Andy, into the back of the fucking net. And it 1-0. So that was 1-0. We're going at half time. I'm thinking, do you know what, Goffey, Gary Stevens have knocked it about well. We've controlled the game. Walter comes in. Well, fuck it. I think I only saw Walter lose it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. But he ripped into Goffey, who was the captain. All this fucking mamby-pamby passing. He was right. But I've come from Everton, where if we'd have controlled the game like that, you'd have been quite happy. And we never had the glove on them. We got beat 1-0 in the end. And you're thinking, fuck's sake.
Was he scary?
Well, yeah. Listen, he just had. For me, it wasn't about him as a coach really, because coaching. I was him as a man manager, as a person that I respected more than anything. Yeah. That old saying, you go through brick walls to your manager. Well, Walter was one, because he treated you like a person and a man, and it was a respect. But I only fell. In fact, I think I fell out with him twice. twice in my 7 years that was there. I say fallout, not a major fallout, never hardly in his office. One time I got a dead leg. One game on the Saturday, Scotland playing on Tuesday night, Craig Brown's first game in Italy, and I was due to sign a new contract. He says to me, he says, right, you can go away with Scotland, because he wasn't one for pulling you back. He liked the lads going away. He says, but if you can't play next Saturday, if you play with a dead leg and it's not right and it's bleeding and all that, and you can't play Saturday, you can forget your new contract. I went, right, okay. So I went away and I think, anyway, dead leg, you know what dead leg's like? He's not a problem, yeah. So Tuesday night, out we go, Italy, I think I beat 3-1. Craig Brown's first game. Last minute of game, big Dino Baggio, bang, came down my ankle. My ankle's like that. I remember coming through Glasgow Airport, I think I had crutches. He wasn't that, but I had to keep weight off it. Couldn't play on a Saturday. Walter never spoke to me for 3 months, let alone, I never signed a deal for 3 months. He says, I told you, you wee bastard, if you couldn't play on Saturday. But not to do with me dead leg. Really? And then the last time, it was the last season, and we'd had a big change in obviously personnel. A lot of foreigners had come in, a lot of Italian lads from everywhere. And the Friday night, we're playing Hibs. And on the Friday, we have a meal, pre-match meal on a Friday night. And then looking around the table, and there's no Durante to make the jokes. I think there was 3 Scottish boys. Me, Gordon Dury, I think Derek McInnes, Charlie Miller might have been there, Big George, you know, there were lots of, but all the Italian lads. And we were trying to explain how important this game was tomorrow, playing Hibs. I'd been out 11 months with my knee prior to it. Anyway, we were just explaining and fucking saying, listen, tomorrow, we've got to win this game. Gaffer was getting a bit of stick in the press, you know, we'd been knocked out of the Cup, I think, knocked out of Europe. And this is a game, implying, telling them how much it meant to everybody. Coming next day, pre-match meal, Gaffer names aside, goes through it, me and Juki are on the bench. And I'm fucking like that, I can't believe it. So as we go to get out, I think it was a Rutland, big hotel, warm day, windows are up. First floor, second floor. So we go out, fucking Archie after everyone, tickets, right, getting tickets, walk out, tickets. I went, no, I don't want any fucking tickets. What says what? He says, do you want to be sub? I went, no, I don't want to be sub, I want to play. I'm saying that to him. He went, what? He says, do you want to be sub or not? We've got other people who can be sub. No, I don't want to be sub, I want to fucking play. I want to play, I want to start. Why am I not starting? He says, fucking get your ass on the bus. So as I've gone out, big oak door, and got my bag on my shoulder, last one out, I've just pulled the door, but because the windows were open, the door slammed. It was a dual staircase. So I've got my bag and I'm walking down this staircase and I get to the bottom, I look up, next minute Walter's fucking sprinted down the steps, he's fucking got hold of me. There's all these Chinese people booking into a hotel, right? And Walter's going, get your fucking self a taxi and get your fucking ass back to Glasgow. I'm going, no, Gaffer, I'll be sub. I'll be sub. Please let me be sub.
And did you go sub?
So I actually goes, right, fucking get on the bus, get on the sub. So I get on the bus, my fucking head's down, fucking like that, fucking embarrassed. Comes half time, fucking 2-1 down at Hibs. Sub, can't remember, I think it was Petric, or I think it might have been Gordon Petric.
What a memory you've got.
No, I think Big Pet, anyway, got injured. So he's ripped into Petric, I think, and told him he's coming off and bringing somebody else on. Anyway, Petric goes to get in the shower, and the one who's Perini's injured, so he has to come back. And then he turns around, he says to me, he says, right, you go on to me. This is at half time. I think, I'll fucking show you. I should have been starting. 30 seconds in, fucking Hibs have gone 3-1 up. Honestly, no lie, I've gone out there like that. I think I might even give the ball away again. 3-1 Hibs. Anyway, fucking bang, Gazza scores from 35 yards. Albert scores from 35 yards. And in the last few minutes, I slipped Negri through and we win 4-3. So that he come in. Next day, Monday, I'm in the gym. No, he's in the gym. He's doing his sit-ups and that, and I walk over to him. And I says, Gaffer, listen. He says, if you're going to have a go at me, let me fucking get up first. So he stands up, he towers above me. I go, Gaffer, see when you said I could have that day off for this funeral this week, is it all right? He went, aye. He says, I thought you were going to talk to me, but it's just Saturday. I says, no, but you made the right decision in the end and walked out.
But could you have a laugh at him as well?
Oh, yeah,
good guy.
Yeah, but as I said, I know a lot of people. I had, I think, 2 run-ins. They weren't even run-ins. But just as a manager, as a person, the respect that I had for him and always will have was, it was always there.
Brilliant. The club were 3 leagues into 9 in a row. See, when you signed, Was that spoken about, that we're going to get 9 in a row, we're going to go beyond the...
No.
Is it just every year try and win the league?
I think when you get to 6, 7, then the fans start singing in the terraces daughter and all that. But no, that was never mentioned, to be honest. But I mean, that first season, even the first season, Graham had gone. So after the first game against Hearts, it was as if like Walter's now just become manager 3 games in. He's got to make his impression on his squad. And he'd done that. And we get knocked out by Sparta Prague. I remember Sparta Prague at home. I scored twice. I only scored twice, 3 times in my 900 odd games. I remember going for a meal after it. We win 2-1, but we get knocked out on away goals. And I'm walking down here thinking Glasgow, been for a bite to eat, 3 Rangers supporters coming up. Oh yes, we thought we were losing Trevor Stevens a blow, but now we've got a goal scoring midfielder. I'm thinking, fuck, if you only knew.
You've been had
20 goals in about 250 games.
Brilliant. See the level of that Rangers team, how did it compare to, obviously played with a top Everton team with Peter Reid, guys like that. How did it compare?
Well, I think if you look at it, Gary Stevens had come up to join Rangers. Everton's best fullback had come to join Rangers. Trevor Stevens, season before, got voted Everton's best player, was now playing for Rangers. So if Rangers can take Everton's best players, then it sort of puts it in perspective.
Who else impressed you straight away?
Big Goffey straight away. Obviously, goalie had just come in. Yeah, I mean, you had Coist, Haley and Moore up front. You had 3 top players trying to, and it started off. It was Remo and Big Marker with the front 2, and Coist was always on the bench.
He'd have loved that, eh?
But no, it was just a good group. And so we get beat in Europe. We get beat by Hibs in the League Cup. Alarm bells, always Walter the right man. Everyone was doubting him. And we play Celtic at Hampden in the semi-final of Cup. Probably, and I always say it, that was the night Walter's team were born. Absolutely lashing down with rain. Full house. Archie had said to David Robertson, Joe Miller, you know him from the Aberdeens, and get into him early on. He didn't mean by his throat with his studs. Red card to Robbo, 6 minutes into the game. 6 minutes into the game. So Celtic with a good side, McStain, middle of the park, running show. Just on half-time, I rubbed Derek White on the halfway line. Go forward with Stuart McCall, 18-yard box in front of Rangers, bang, bang, 1-0. Second half was an onslaught. The goalie was unbelievable. I think McStay hit the bar from 30 yards. We played the full game with 10 men and we won 1-0. And I think that night enabled us to go on, because I think if we'd have lost that night, I'm not so sure if Walter's still been there. Could have been there. And I think we looked around in that dressing room and thought, yeah, we've got the tools, as in the desire and the men that want to go do it. And thankfully it snowballed after that.
You said the first season was mixed with Europe and stuff like that, but could you have foreseen the success in the second season?
No, you never can. I remember, I think it was up at Dundee. I think it was wee Dodds. He got a couple of goals. We get beat Dundee 4-3. Again, Walter come in, and that was last into us. And then we went from that, went 44 games unbeaten, 10 games in Europe. And again,
was Europe always a big thing for Walter Smith?
I don't know, just winning. Winning was a big thing. Yeah. I think, listen, domestically, just win your league. But the European was. But again, we didn't have a Gascoigne or a Laudrup. We didn't have individual. That was probably our most successful season, 92, 93. And there were no big stars. It was just a team, you know, from the back right through. It was just lads who you could rely on. And we'd get through games where we just through desire, and I keep using that word, but effort and guts, and you know. And if you've got McCoist and Haley at the top end of the park, you've always got a chance. You got them in goal. Goff as your centre half with, you know, anybody with him, you know, John Brown, big slim, middle of the park, and then up top you've got McCoist and Haley. You always got a chance.
How did you feel when you got Leeds in the Europe?
Well, it's funny because obviously Leeds had always been my side, as in growing up, and there were no tickets. Leeds didn't get any tickets for us. And I did a deal with Gary Mack, who was obviously at Leeds at the time, so I got him some tickets for up here, and he got me some from down there. But I think after the home game, remember, and I think if you speak with Gordon Strachan and all the Leeds, it was the loudest, standing in a tunnel, it's the loudest noise I've ever heard before you walked out. So we go out, atmosphere is incredible. And typical, Coyce never listens. He never listens off the park, he never listens on it, does he? So they've got a corner, first 50 seconds, whatever it was, and I'm sitting with him, McAllister on the edge of the box, and Coyce is sort of just in a bit, he's about 12 yards. He says, aye, okay. Anyway, in, out, McAllister hits on top then. a minute in a game. It's gone from the loudest atmosphere you've ever heard at a game. You thought there was a minute's silence. It was just absolutely silent. Anyway, we managed to come back, win 2-1. Final whistle goes, and it was a bit of because we probably could have won 3 or 4-1 that night. Bearing in mind, Leeds had probably had the best midfield that an English side had in years and years.
Speed, McAllister, Strachan,
and David Batty.
All
international. So Batty in the middle of the park, Strachan on the right, Speed on the left, and Gary Mack. So the midfield forwards. So it was a great challenge, a great battle. Anyway, we go down to Leeds and do what they did to us, which Big Mark scores in the first minute, go on to win, thankfully get through. And then first person in the dressing room was Sir Alex. First person. I don't think he'd ever spoke to Archie after he left, because Archie left to come and join Walter with 3 games to go. Left Man United.
He's interviewed this. He told us that story.
Right. And I don't think they'd ever spoke. But anyway, it was first in Sir Alex, and he went round all the players, because it was Battle of Britain. You know what I mean? He says, "Oh, I believe you're staying in Manchester tonight. Have a great night." I thought, right, we certainly will.
We'll come to that, because McCoist told us that story as well.
That'll be a lie.
Did you feel like you had been written off because they were English champions at hand? Did you use that?
Yeah, I did, because obviously I remember my dad coming down to training the night before, and he brought a couple of papers for us, and it was a local paper, and he was saying, look, they've gone and asked all the Scottish Leeds players, Billy Bremner, Peter Lorimer, Eddie Gray, people like that, and a lot of them were saying it's not the fact that Leeds will go through, it's by how many. It's with that, Leeds are that far ahead of them, and it wasn't just them, but it was everybody. That was a consensus in England, all the press. It wasn't, will Leeds go through? It was, I wonder who we're going to get next. We'll take 3 or 4 off Rangers. In the end, to be fair, even though we won 2-1, Cantona scored for them later on.
Wow, what a team they had, eh?
Aye, the goalie was top draw. But yeah, we got through, and like I say, to have St Alex come in and go around everyone was brilliant. It was some night.
Was Strachan chirpy on the pitch?
I can't remember. I'll have a word with him here. Only kidding, Gordon. No, listen, he was a top player. Yeah. He was a top. So was Gary Mark and Gary Speed. They were the midfield four. Was probably the best midfield four as a quartet that you ever played.
See, when you were playing top players, was it always your thing to smash them early?
No. Well, maybe. Some top players you couldn't get near, but listen, you go out with that. Normally, you'll know if you're playing against a player who's better than you, and if he's on his top game, you've got to get about him, you've got to affect him, and you've got to do it whatever way you do it. But I never used to put too much on the opposition. I just thought, listen, as a player, be the best I can be. If I can be very, very good or be effective, not good, because I could pass it out at the park as good as anyone. You know what I mean? It was throw into Rangers, goes to McCall, throw into opposition. You know what I mean? I could pass it out at the park with the best of them. Don't worry about that. But it was just just be the best you can be in every game. Make it everything to you.
Right, Walter Smith sets a 9:30 deadline, and you miss it.
No, I don't miss it. Of course he's talking.
That's McCoist.
I'll tell you a true story about that, right? So, we're flying from Manchester the next day. So, where we going? We're going night out in Manchester. Well, as Rangers-Celtic rivalry, Manchester United and Leeds, even though there's, 40-odd miles between them, is massive down there. Hate each other. So we're going to Manchester. We imagine we go out, we go to this private club, VIPs. We're getting treated like kings because we beat Leeds. We've knocked Leeds out of Europe. Bang, drinks are flowing. Great.
Who's pouring them, Sir Alex?
No, he wasn't there. No, it was just all. And it was a good crack, anyway, you can imagine. Anyway, I get back, I'm room with Dale Gordon, I get back, hotel up to my room, go in, can't even get through the door. Bomber's 2 pals are lying there, Paul Axe, I think Durant, his brother and his pals there. There was no room, so I come back down the steps, down the lift to go and see if there's a spare room for a few hours kept. And who's there? Big Davy Dodds, big armchair, cigar,
I love that.
Ice bucket, champagne. I thought, well, it's rude to let him drink on his own. It's not fair, is it? You know what I mean? I can't let him drink on his own. Anyway, that night, me and Dodgy made his own language up, Swahili, I think it was. And so we must have just gone into a little bit of a sleep. And next minute, I remember this ding. You can lift doors, like that, lift doors open. There's a gaffer. Rangers, shirt, tie, immaculate as always. Bag. Look at it, says, fucking bus leaves in 15 minutes, make sure you're on it. We've got a big game Saturday. And I've gone, I said, Gaffer, he's walking away. Gaffer, he's only Celtic.
That was what McCoy's doing.
And he just looked at me. And honestly, it's probably the best way to sober up if the Gaffer stares at you. quickly up, showered, bang. I didn't miss the bus at all. Back on the bus, up the road, we play Celtic away, Parkhead, 12:30 kick-off. I think we still had alcohol, even though it was only Tuesday night. It's still sobering up. And you go out and Celtic battered us that day. And Vigilante came up, as he always did in big games with great goals, and we won 1-0. So, it turned out to be a good. But I didn't miss a bus, but we had a couple of shandies.
This question's not on there, but just when you mentioned Durant, who did you enjoy playing next to Rangers most midfield?
See, everyone will go, Gazza, brilliant. Albert's fantastic. Vigilante, magic. Ian Ferguson. Me and Fergie were in Middle Park, probably thought we were a bit similar, but we knew how to get about the game and how to affect the game. So I would never say I had a specific partner. I loved playing with Trevor Stephen when he came into the Middle Park. Big Mikhailichenko, the big workaholic no, he wasn't a workaholic, was
alcoholic.
it? The alcoholic. On the left. And so that's Gazza was obviously brilliant to play alongside. Vigilante was. Ian Ferguson was just as important. That's when we had, the 92-93 season was me and him in Middle of the Park for the majority of games. I wouldn't say, but yeah, Durante. What Durante did, he always turned up in big games. You look at the goals he's got in big games.
Right, Marseille. Marred with controversy. The rumours of match fixing, did the players, did they talk about that?
No, not to be honest. No, I did. Listen, we went to Marseille and we knew it was a winner-take-all. If we'd have won their 5th game into the group of 6, we drew 1 each. Again, Durante got a brilliant goal. We missed Big Haley, he got sent off against Bruges in the game before. But we get a credible 1 each, think nothing of it, come back. Last game, we're at home to CSK and Marseille at Bruges. Marseille won the game anyway, they beat Bruges, but we had to beat their result. All I can remember about the game, well, a couple of things, is we draw 0-0, final whistle goes, it was this CSK had won the World Cup, their players. So it's only afterwards when you think that, they were finishing bottom of the league, it was the first point in the tournament, they were absolutely jumping, the coaches are running on, they're celebrating like, they've got through, and yet they've won a point. And it didn't click with me then, but when you hear the stories after, you think, I wonder if there were more to it. I don't go in for, I don't know what happened, I'm not into all that, but I do remember, and I remember us going round the lap of honour, Goffey was swathed in bandage in blood, the big Terry Butcher look, and the fans were incredible, because I think they realised we'd give everything we had. And even if we'd have won the game, because Marseille had won in Bruges, it wouldn't have mattered. But just looking back, that was probably the thing that I would go, do you know what? They were probably getting more than a point. They were probably being, I don't know.
Because Trevor Stephen had joined from Marseille. Did he tell you about anything that was going on before that?
No, to be honest, no. I've never heard any stories of that. It was only after it all came out.
Because Haley said in the second leg he was offered a bribe not to play.
He did that,
Did that come out at the time?
Yeah, we used to offer big mark bribes not to play sometimes. So.
But you drew 1 each. Was there any suspicion like with the ref for that night?
No, I can remember. No, I've got to be honest. No, it was listen. It was one of them, you look back and you think, if we'd have won that game, but we it wasn't as though we battered them, we had loads of chances. I think if we'd have had Big Mark up front, it might have made a difference. We drew 1-1, they were a top-class team, they had some world-class players. So, no, I can't remember, if I'm honest, there was any debate about anything.
But despite that disappointment, still a fantastic season winning the treble at you.
Yeah, no, it was some season. As I said, there was a lot of games went to the wire. I think what we remember most is, well, we used to go behind in a lot of games. But when you had the likes of McCoist and Haley up front, you always knew we had goals in the team. And with the spirit we had, and once you come back once, you always know, it doesn't matter if you go behind, we'll come back. And I think for the supporters, if you can do a treble, and if you win the treble, you're the biggest rivals' ground, which we did, because Hampden was getting redeveloped, so we played the finals at Celtic Park. So to win there, was special certainly for the supporters as well. But yeah, it was an incredible season. The only thing after that is, how do you follow that? See, you mentioned Haley and McCoist quite a lot this season midfield. See if you weren't giving them service, would they be on you? No, get no chances. I'd settle for McCoist. You kidding? No, funny enough, McCoist, it was only afterwards. Boys used to come into me in the middle of the park, and I used to just flick him around the corner. And then one day in training, in fact, it might have been one of these five-a-side games not long ago. He used to say to me, he says, listen, come here, I'm going to do something to you. He says, what is it? Fire the ball in, nick it around the corner. You try controlling them. When they're playing with spin. I says, yeah, big. So all them years you've been saying, I've been putting, you got me in a fucking trap of bag of cement and you're blaming my balls for around it. That's what you say. Oh, we ball around the corner there. We're coming out spin on it. No, you can just get hold of it.
Was he good at linking up McCoist now? Was it just all about in the box?
Yeah, listen, look at his goal record. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? And to be fair, if I missed a chance, I wouldn't go back in box. Coach had missed a lot of chances. He didn't give him monkeys. Bang, back in, take him. Again, big games, incredible goals. You know, he used to score, you know, loads. But no, he was. Yeah, listen, he's not going to be a link-up player and all that. He was a goal scorer, and he wasn't bad at it.
See how you talked about Water, obviously the scary side and how much you could crack. What would he do to make you feel like? What was the good sides of like man management? Would he make you feel like $1 million before you went on the pitch? Would he congratulate you? Or was it just?
Yeah, no. I just think everything he said, it's just his aura and his respect when he walked in a room. You know, I'd hang on every word, you know, in team talks and just listen intensely to him.
But would he praise you a lot?
He'd praise his favourites. You know,
and who were they?
Well, Golden Boy, obviously. No, listen, it was pretty fair. It was pretty fair. I think Archie used to have. I think I was one of Archie's favourite, thankfully, because I think if he weren't, he got pied a little bit. But no, they were. And listen, end of the seasons. I mean. You know, I used to end up under the table, but Walter was always on top of the table. He was always there singing and that. Yeah, he liked a bit of rock and roll and all that. But yeah, so he was listen, you knew he was a gaffer. You know who was a boss and everything. You bang, but you could also, he'd have a crack with you, and you know, it was respect.
And usually the best managers, ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, the dressing room. We're going to name a few people and just give us a wee bit about them. Obviously, Andy got them.
Well. How long you got? I mean, we got 3 days of stories here. But for me, everyone always says to me, "Who's your best player you've ever played with?" World-class player. Obviously, Laudrup, Gascoigne. For me, the one world-class player I played with, and by that I mean is when I was playing with him, I think he would have got in a World 11. Was Andy Gorham, and people go, and I think you go back to that era. Schmeichel was in goal for Man United at the time. Before Andy had his knee up, he had about 18 months before his knees give way. Where he was in training. You know what I mean? There was only me who could beat him in training. Even McCoist and Haley couldn't beat him. But he was... And it didn't matter if you were playing in Champions League games or you were playing at Stranraer. If there's a save to make in the top corner, it doesn't matter who's hitting it. It doesn't matter if it's, I don't know, Baggio, or if it don't matter if it's Jock Brown from around the corner. You still have to pull them saves off, you know. And he for me, was one at the time where he was unbeatable at times. And you only have to ask Celtic players and punters, because he must have brought their hearts many times.
I've met him at a couple of charity doing that. He's some character as well, isn't he?
He's a character. But that dressing room was full of characters. Absolutely full of characters.
Was it laughs every day?
Yeah, it was. There was some incredible moments. Yeah, there was some great times. I mean, when you look back at it, I think the best... Talk about the goalie there, funny enough. For me, Christmas parties, because the fancy dress. I mean, Ally McCoist used to spend hours. You actually ditched training in the morning, say they had an injury, so you could get all the makeup, big Spock ears, everything. I remember one thing, I'm staying at the moat house, Mikhailichenko and Kuznetsov are there, and we come down, my two little ones, bye daddy, have a good, I'm fancy dress gear, I can't remember what it was. Santa Claus I might have been that year. But anyway, go, get ready, go up for a bite to eat, bit of lunch before we go. And of course, we're always going to the boxing with the big gloves. There's always fun things, comedian, karaoke. There was always stuff planned. It was brilliant. And I remember this, so we go and we get ready to get on the bus at, say, 3 o'clock on the bus, after you've had your food upstairs and the Christmas crackers and a bit of dinner and that. And there's two Russians are not about, nowhere, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, forget all about that, go home. Wake up that morning, kids are jumping on me. Daddy, where were you? What? Kuznetsov and Mikhailichenko thought the Christmas do was to come, get fancy dress on, go upstairs, eat your lunch and go home. That's what they thought. And so they've actually come back into the moat house. So I'm staying at 2:30. My kids are there thinking, oh, there's Daddy's friends. Daddy'll be home any time. 12 hours later, Daddy rolls up, can't speak. Yeah, but that's what them two did. But I think them times, and the other times, end of season trips, and we went Durante's testimonial. We flew over to Toronto, Canada, brilliant. And Scotland had a game, so the Scottish boys, me, Dookie, I think the goalie, there was a few others. went later on, and we flew out from Glasgow. Jonathan Watson was with us, you know, the actor in it. Yeah, brilliant. So I'm actually sat next to Jonathan. I'm saying, come on, give us. He says, who's your? I said, Dennis Law. Give me Dennis Law, please. Anyway, 5 hours later, I had to put Dennis Law to bed. He thought it was Dennis Law. It morphed into him with Jonathan. So we get to over there, Toronto, and we go and we have a game of pool and that. And I remember the goalie. He was always up to tricks. And next minute, he's going out with Jonathan. Oh, you're a great wee guy. You're a blue nose, you. You Jonathan's game. Next minute, and Jonathan come up to me and he's looking over. He says, people in the bar over there, they're looking at me. He says, I must be big in Canada. They're all laughing at me, and because he was the impressionist and everything. He says, I might move over there, because every time I look over, people are pointing at me. And I says, aye, brilliant. Anyway, he goes to the toilet, comes back, yeah, bastards. The Gordon had been getting the blue chalk. He was like a wee smurf. It wasn't the bluebells are blue, it was wee Jonathan was blue. His face was just covered in blue chalk. And he wasn't any wiser. He's going, look, everyone's looking at me. I must be really big in Canada. And then the next day, so that was a Gordon was. But they're always up to pranks. McCoist and Durant at the bar, the tequilas. Durant, a couple of McCoist, his pal, just gone into this bar. Durant had a couple of beers. You couldn't drink soup, McCoist. Couldn't drink soup. Tell you what, tequilas now. 3 tequilas, barman. Here. So McCoist said, barman, listen, mate, mine in this water. Right, true. Right. Tequila, salt, bang. Right. Squeeze a lemon, whatever you do. 5 in. Durant can't even speak. He's like that. And McCoist said, come on, me mum was up here. She's just some drink at McCoist. Anyway, so he says, listen, wee man, you have mine, and I'll take yours. Bang. Durant going, yeah, I'm so I've been drinking water all the time.
So was just sharp McCoist there?
Yeah. Just things like that. That's when you get your end of season trips, and the Christmas dues for me were priceless.
That team spirit's massive as well.
Of course it is.
Brilliant. Right, one everyone will be waiting for your favourite Gazza story. Have you got one?
Probably most of them have been told, but yeah, listen, there's the couple. The one where we had a fine committed 10 o'clock. If you wanted by 10, you got fined. I think it was a £5 every minute after that. And at Rangers, you always had to wear a shirt and tie. That was a tradition from years and years gone by. I remember joining Rangers. I just signed a new deal at Everton with Nike. And I had 2 shirts and 1 tie when I joined Rangers. I had all this Nike gear to go in. Willie 1 tie for 3 months. I only had 1 tie.
So you had to wear shirt and tie
every day for training. Aye, every day. Anyway, so we're looking at clock. It's 10 o'clock. Gazza's not in. Next minute, you heard this squelch coming down the corridor. Door bursts open. 10 o'clock right on. I still can't find him. There he is. In a Marnie shirt. Hugo Boss tie. Big pair of fishing waders, big pair of welly boots. He'd been fishing all morning. But he's there, shirt and tie. So you couldn't get far. So, great, we go training, maybe come, I did what I used to do. Not anymore, as you can tell. Went to the gym, come back, getting ready to pick the kids up. I used to get changed next to Gazza. I actually pleaded with Jimmy Bell, please don't put, I was number 3 changing. He'd give Gazza number 4. So he changed, for 3 months he changed next to me. As you can imagine. Anyway, bang, come out of the gym, get ready to go. There's only me left. What's left? A pair of wellies, pair of fishing waders. He took my gear, took my trousers, my shoes, and I had to go pick the kids up. I just put a pair of Rangers shorts on, but he'd left me gear, so that was all. But the one, I remember we played on a Tuesday night. I think it was Aberdeen in the cup. We beat Aberdeen, so we're in the next day on a Wednesday. I think it's called a cool down now. In our day, it was to sober up. So everyone's in there, and we're going out for the day in the afternoon. So it's me, Gazza, Jimmy Five Bellies, we Durante. And jump in this cab. We had to go in the district bar. Durant needed to drop a couple of tickets off for the game on Saturday. So we go in. It was quite busy. It was like 1 o'clock. We go in, quick pint. Gazza gets mobbed as he always does. Anyway, the bird behind the bar said, "Oh, Gazza, I love your top. Can I get your top?" The girl had the Rangers t-shirt on, blue Rangers t-shirt with the crest. Gazza went, typical Gazza, because he'd do anything for anyone. He says, "Yeah, you can have my shirt as long as I can get yours." So off they come. Gazza's big boobs, the bird's big boobs. Swap shirts. Gazza puts the t-shirt on. Right, drop the ticket, have a pint, back into town. We're in there. What's that smell? If you let one go, Durant in front. Gazza, the t-shirt. Oh, I think the girl, the lady, had this t-shirt on for a few days, you know what I mean? And it was absolutely not the best smell. So we get into just near Glasgow train station. We're just going to the Steps Bar, which we used to go to. A little old man's pub, was brilliant, bit of privacy. And next minute, Gazza just goes, "Just wait here." fucking door flies open, red lights, out he goes, across the road. Where's he gone? There's a big charity shop on the corner. 2 minutes later, out he comes, holding the traffic up, stop, big blue and white, head to toe floral dress. He had a big dress on, and he had a couple of things to make his boobs there. He's walking about like a bird, like Danny LaRue used to. In you come in the car, back up to the pub, sat in the pub. He's punters are walking in, looking over. Gazza's got a dress on, that's typical Gazza. Sat there for a wee while, Gazza goes, "Take me £5." He says, "Here, here's my card, or 100 quid or whatever it was, 200 quid. Go get us a shirt round the corner." I think it was a shirt, a Manish shop round the corner, Italian centre. So £5 come back with his shirt, honestly. I mean, Big Mark used to wear black and green and yellow shirts and that, but this shirt he bought Gazza liked it. So he puts his shirt on, fucking looking a million, he thought he'd look a million. People are now coming in, whereas when he had his dress on, they're cooking on, "What the fuck have you got on, Gazza?" Anyway, so he sits there with his shirt, there's a wee boy comes in, paper bag, jacket up, selling Evening Times. So Gazza, he says, "Right boys, tenner for the paper, buy paper." David Robertson, just signing from Aberdeen, he puts 10p in. So Gazza shouts a wee boy over paper, "Here, gives a paper." I think he gave him 160 quid, 10 pence. So he got tenners from it. So he gives a wee boy, "Here, that's for the paper."
Brilliant.
So wee boy's like, brilliant, out he goes. So another hour goes on, a few more beers. Gazza's getting so much stick for his shirt. He says, "Here, gives that fucking dress back." So he puts his dress back on. Next minute, boy comes back through the door. Wee guy's there. He went, "Oh, Gazza!" And he stood at the door, wee guy. He's going, he says, "See you, Rangers?" "Yes, yeah." He says, "And do you know what? Your fucking shot's even worse." And he zips his top down, he's got a Celtic top on. And the wee boy runs out and Gazza runs after him. And he's chasing him down the main street in his fucking floral dress. Chasing the wee boy's, "Hey, get it up, yeah." But that's what he was, Gazza. He was the most kindest, financial-wise or anything-wise. He would give you anything, you know what I mean? And it was a great character to play alongside. But yeah, and they're always usually heartwarming stories. You could tell a lot more of that, where he's been really generous to people.
Right. See, on the pitch, did he just want the ball at the time?
Yeah, he did, but I used to say to him, "Listen, let me do all the work back here and I'll get you, the good players, the ball, and you do your stuff." But it wasn't like that. It wasn't a midfielder where he was just, he was a worker. And you'd see him back, smashing people, tackling, heading. He wanted to be the all-round, midfielder. So he wanted luxury. Sometimes you get these number 10s and midfielders that he wanted to work just like all the rest did, but it was a magician with the ball.
And Brian Laudrup, was he? I know you said about the goalie, but outfield player, Laudrup the best?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I remember Brian, I think second or third game I was injured up in the club deck and playing Celtic, right in front of us, and he was going down the right wing. And I don't know if it was Tosh McKinley or if it was Tam Boyd, but Brian had overrun it a little bit and they were coming in. But Brian was still favourite to get it. And I think he saw, let's say Boyd or Tosh coming in, and he sort of pulled back and jumped out of it and bang. And I thought, so went down after the game, I think it was 1 each. I just pulled him aside. I said, "Listen, Brian, I know you're a great player, but you can't do that in all firm games. Don't ever jump out of tackles and that, He went, but, and then from then on, I never realised what a superb player. I thought, we've got a foreign lad in, I don't think he fancies this. You don't know what it's like playing for Rangers. He went on to be not only a great player, but just a good person.
But he did things in training that you would go, wow.
Yeah. I mean, he used to we used to think we had a good defence, and then he'd meg Goffey and put it round Bomber, and Bomber used to want to be slicing him. And Walter used to say, "Don't forget he's playing for us on Saturday," and everyone would try to take him out. But his ability and his balance was absolutely fantastic. And he was a top player. But again, not only a top player, he was a top lad.
He was a big quiet guy, wasn't he? How did he find somebody like Gascoigne? He must have been so...
He was a quiet guy until he met Gorham's wine stash and that. But yeah, unlikely partnership, him and Andy at times, to be honest. I think the wives and girlfriends got quite pally. And the goalie introduced him to some red wine, I think. But no, I remember they used to go to... they went to Monte Carlo for sometimes closer to mid-season break at times. And I remember Walter coming in one day, and it was me, Bomber, I can't remember if it was Durante, and he says, "I'm so fucking pleased you three are injured and you can't come on this trip. So I'm taking all these good professionals, brilliant." Anyway, day after it was filtering through, and Laudrup was walking around corridor, no clothes, and didn't know where he was, absolutely stuttering about, banging his head. Walter came back and says, listen, at least I knew what you three get up to. I didn't expect it to Laudrup.
Only in Scotland that can happen to top players, doesn't it?
He came teetotal, I think he left an alcoholic.
Was it a big drinking culture back then?
Listen, it was everywhere. I'm not just saying at Rangers. Everton, gosh, when I joined Everton, you know, big Norman Whiteside, but Man United, they had the three, Brian Robson, Big Norman, McGrath, all absolutely best players. But some of the stories here, Peter Reid, Graham Shetty, even Everton, it was, in them days, Arsenal lads, you know, you hear stories now, you couldn't get away with it nowadays, but it was a huge culture, the old drink, at the right times.
Brilliant. Right, getting the 9 in a row. How vital were the signings of guys like Gascoigne and Laudrup? Because Celtic had started to get a better team as well. Were they so important to get in the 9?
Yeah, they were without a doubt.
Did the standards raise again when they came? Yeah,
I think they did. I think for me, when I look back, the 8 in a row, the 96 year, was massive because people don't. A lot of people, under Tommy Burns, Celtic lost one game that season. Yeah. You had the Canios and Toms and Van Hooijdonks. Lost one game in a 36-game season or 38-game season, I can't remember. And we lost 3. And it was a second last game when Gazza gets a hat-trick against Aberdeen. But it just showed you how much we were being pushed by Celtic. And hence, I think that helped us go on in the cup final, beat Hearts 5-1, probably putting the best cup final performance for many a year, because we'd been pushed that far by Celtic. And Celtic were getting better as things were going on. But yeah, I think each season, you know, I think Walter always wanted to, I said marquee signing. We got Gazza in one year, then we got Laudrup in, or Albertson, and then we went the Italian lads come in, Big Amaruso and Negri, and that each season they try to make marquee signings.
Did you enjoy the Old Firm games, or was it just too intense to actually enjoy?
I loved them. If I could have played every game an Old Firm game, yeah, it was one for me. Never feared, just look forward to it. The biggest hardship was getting tickets, because I used to always. Durante was always vying. I used to always go in ticket office. I'd say, lead up to the games, I'd get really pally with Kalichenko and Kuznetsov, guys that won your ticket, really pally with them, and Big Petric, sort of giving them lift home and that, and going out my way. And then it'd come up on a board, and you're allowed 10 tickets. Durante goes, Kalichenko need 10. And I'd get out of ticket office early, I'd get about 30 or 40 tickets. Durante, I mean, what's the tickets? But yeah, so getting a ticket, listen, I was lucky as well. I think I played in 25 and only lost 3. So I was fortunate to play in an era where we were reasonably successful. But no, for me, I loved them. I loved them. I didn't get nervous, and obviously you fear when you lose. I remember a game. 2 games in my first season, I think it was first season, Celtic knocked us out of the cup. And that Saturday night, I'd all my family went to a Chinese restaurant up at Rooker Glen, went in. And first time my family had been up, brother, sister, family and that, we're going to this Chinese. Should never book to go out after an Old Firm game, right enough. Anyway, in the next minute, guy comes out, owner comes out, goes in a cupboard, brings his Rangers scarf out, throws it on the floor, starts standing there. Disgrace today, disgrace! A lot of my family looking at me. I says, listen, right, okay. I says, listen, we're playing in 10 days' time in the cup. I says, I promise you we'll beat them then. Right, we'll beat them then. He went, right, you promise, you beat them. You bring all the team in, free food, free drink that night. I says, right, you're on, brilliant, great. So the next day, going to training, I need to go get some petrol. So I'm filling up with petrol, go in. 2 guys behind the thing, laughing, smirking. You know what I mean? So, surprised you can afford petrol. You won't get any win bonus this week, you know. So the banter was always like that, wasn't it? So I thought, fair enough. Anyway, 10 days on, thankfully managed to beat Celtic. We all went out in Glasgow that night for a bite to eat. I remember on wedding thinking, I'm just going to ring the wee rook. Hello, can I speak to the manager? Oh no, the manager's not in. He's gone away. He was expecting all that. But the next day I went down to the same garage. I took my car, I took my missus' car. I then went back for a valet. I went back to put my tyres up. The guy went, fair enough, but I won't give you any stick anymore. But that's what it's like. You have a bit
enjoy
of banter.
That banter? Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I know, again, Celtic supporters, obviously, and I'm pally with some ex-Celtic players, and it's not a big deal for me, that. And I think as long as it's good-natured banter, you get that banter. It's just when it goes over the top, it gets ridiculous.
Definitely. You suffered a bad injury in '96. Did you know straight away that it'd be a bad one?
I guess you always got a story, haven't you? But my medial ligament had been hanging by a thread for for like months. I couldn't strike the ball properly. Every time the ball came out from a corner, unless it was on a volley, I used to get it and pass it back to corner person. I used to get dogs abuse, fans, you know, when it's rolling out, shoot, and I couldn't hit it. I used to either pass it. So we went to play Ajax. We went to play Ajax away Amsterdam Stadium, whatever it was. And I'd been given a man marking role. First time I'd ever given a man marking role on a midfield boy. Anyway, Gazza gets sent off 18 minutes in the game. Red cards, we're down to 10 men. Next minute, I think it's De Boer or someone's coming through and pot shotting from 30 yards. Goffey's shouting at me. Was it? I can't remember the midfield boy. Anyway, he says, "You've got to go close him down. Goalie's going mental. Close him down. You're the nearest player, but I'm man marking this boy." Right, anyway, so I'm going out. So sod's law, ball gets wide, cross comes in. The boy I'm supposed to mark in 2 goals. So I'm going at half time. And it's time now. The boy had landed on me about 30 minutes in the game. He'd landed on my knee and it had just gone. I think it torn, it'd gone. So I'm coming in. I'm going to have to come off. Fucking big ice pack on my knee. And then Walter says his thing, and Archie goes, "Aye." He says, "Fucking one job we give you, man marking job. First time you can't even fucking do it." Well, my head just went because I'm thinking, I can't remember what his name. Anyway, I've got the ice up. I fucking slam the ice down. I'll get up to confront Archie, and Archie's having a go at me. And I'm saying, I've only gone and been told, fucking, they're having pot shots from 30 yards. I've got to go close the ball. Just ironic that when it comes in. Anyway, and Gazza tells us afterwards that he was in the toilet and he heard the big fucking block of ice go, and he thought Walter coming for him because we're getting sent off. And he's locked himself in the toilet. He's like that. Anyway, so the physio says, right, you have to come off. I says, "There's no way I'm coming off now." I couldn't come off. My knee was numb. I think it actually torn. And I limped about for 45 minutes saying that, because it's one of them, go out and show us that you've got a bit of balls and that.
You can't come off.
I can't come off. Physio says, "You can't even," and I couldn't, I don't think I kicked the ball, but I made sure the boy that was supposed to man marking never got a kick. I just followed him all over the park and made sure I never got a kick. And yeah, so that was that.
See, playing that 45 minutes, did that make your injury worse? Because you
probably, but it had gone completely snapped. So then I went, and that was. Then I went down to London. The scan didn't think it was bad. Got it done. Came back for 3 months. Couldn't get it going. Flew to America. Got a dead man's Achilles inserted in my knee. Came back. Swelled up again. Went back. 11 months to the day that I did it against Ajax. We played Celtic in a reserve game on a Saturday afternoon. It was the biggest crowd. It was probably the 3rd biggest crowd in Britain that day. And we had a quite strong team. And we Gattuso made his first team day, so drew 1-1. I think Simon Donnelly scored right off. But yeah, so
you've got by you.
Yeah, you always remember the good things. Mind you, the injury wasn't a good thing right enough. But yeah, no, it was to be out that long. And obviously in the 9-in-a-row season was hard to.
Because you never. I think the injury meant you didn't play enough games to get a medal. Was that good?
Oh, no, I did.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't play enough games, you're right, but I got a medal. I played 14 games. I played the first 14 games and we'd won every one, but only 7 league games. 7 cups and 7 league games. Didn't win because we didn't win in Ajax. But so after, obviously, when we were in there, I said to Walter, I says, "Listen," he went, so he got me a medal. So I got my medal. But yeah, there were a thing in them days, you had to play so many games, didn't you, to merit some percentage of how many games. But Walter got me a medal, so I did get a medal.
So you just quickly on Gattuso?
Yeah.
Did you ever think he would go and have the career he did? Because I heard he couldn't have passed the ball for you.
Listen, I love Vieira, but he was, it was like a caveman, wasn't he? He was just really intense. And to be fair, you had like Barry Ferguson, Derek McInnes, Charlie Miller, sort of vying for a midfield role with him. And they looked to be a bit better. But you've got to remember, he was only 18, 19, I think, when he came in. But going back to that, you would never think he'd had the career he had. But you could certainly look at him and say he had the desire.
That's what you're talking about again, eh?
He had the desire to do what he's done in the game. And I've seen Reno a couple of times since. I'm so pleased that he went on to have the career that he had, yeah.
See, just off script a minute, when you mentioned the names that were young players coming through, all centre midfielders,
yeah.
Did you feel a bit wary of the kids coming to take your place?
Probably at the time. But I'd like to think, and I think Derek had said something, I'd try to help him. I did try to help him to a stage, and then if they start getting in team, I make sure I sorted them out in training. But I think it was a strong area. Jonas Turner came, Fergie was still there, George Alberts could play in there. Then you had Fergie, Charlie, Derek. So there was a lot of hot competition in the middle part. Yeah.
Right, how was it watching that famous night at Tannadice?
Yeah, brilliant. Obviously it was great, especially when Laudrup first time he'd headed the ball in his life, I think. Great cross from Charlie, great goal, yeah. But it was good, and then obviously back. But there is a part, yeah, as much as it's a fantastic achievement and everyone says you've played your part, you've been there for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you've not been involved that much, you know, you don't feel as... But listen, lads are the lads. Goffey was out injured that back end of that season. I would have liked to have played a bigger part, but you know, I managed to play. I always say them first 7 games that we won, they were the cornerstone. Yeah, if we hadn't picked them wins up, we wouldn't have won it.
Can you remember how you celebrated 9 in a row?
Do you know what? I can't. To be fair, I played for Rangers for 7 years. I can only remember 2 of them. You know what I mean? But I can't. No, I remember going on the bus, coming back, because I think I got the car there, I got a lift there, and I jumped on the bus on the way back. Because you never know. There's never guarantees in football that night's going to be the night.
Yeah.
So
would Walter get emotional on nights like that now?
Yeah, he would. No, he would. I think they all would just have that. Listen, obviously Walter Archie, Doddsy was a great. What he did, he mixed in with the players and the management and that. So we had a good backroom team as well. And yeah, I think at the end of it, you always end up you certainly celebrate well.
Right, going for 10. What was the issue? Why didn't you get it?
It can boil down to a lot of things. I think, obviously, I don't think I had a big effect, but Brian did a pre-contract with Chelsea, so there was a lot of talk about that. Gazza left. Walter came out and says he was going, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think, in honesty, we lost the second last game of the season at home at Kilmarnock. I think it was 1-0, and if we'd have won that, we could have still done it. So it wasn't anything that you look at
the whole season.
Yeah, I think there was. We went up to Aberdeen, got beat, I think 1-0 with about 4 or 5 games to go, which was key. But then we lost the last home game against Kilmarnock, which was a boot. And but I think you've got to give credit to the Celtic squad. I remember years gone by, 7, 8 in a row, and we'd go out maybe on a Wednesday night up to Victoria's, and you could always guarantee Charlie Nick would be up in a piano bar at the top, you know. And he used to say, he says, "This is why we're not like you are, because you come out as a group, you come out as a team." In essence, if you think about it, you can only be seen out if you're doing well.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't be sorting around the pubs and clubs and that if you're struggling. But I think Celtic then in that year got your Stubbs, Craig Burley's, I think Boyd was in there, other lads, and they started doing golf days.
They said that in interviews that we've done. You're right, you're spot on it.
But I remember one occasion around Christmas, we went into a pub. I can remember it. Pub that we used to go in, quite a little pub. And we were in there, and across and through the other side was the Celtic boys, and you'd never seen that. And there was probably a dozen of them in there, Jackie McNamara, people like them. But I think Burley and Stubbs in them. And now, I don't get, it's not a case you need to be an alky now, go get on the piss to have a team spirit. I don't mean that for one second.
Mates,
but you were there together. You weren't just going into training, finishing off. You were actually there, and they were going to golf days, they were going to go-karting. You know, and as that 10 was, and when we were going for the 10, we'd lost a lot of the Scottish culture, if you like, of mixing and going out, you know, and we had a lot of as I said, I think we had 4 Italians in there, a couple of Scandinavians. Now that's, again, not the reason why we didn't do 10. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But the sort of togetherness, and when things are pressurised, when you need to have that togetherness, it wasn't there. But that's what Celtic then started getting. And I think that pushed them. If they'd been and had that unity, they probably wouldn't have.
Did you notice that at the time, or is it only looking back now that
I noticed that Christmas when we went there, you know, because, you know, and I'd just come back and we'd just go out for a bite. And listen, it was a bite to eat. It wasn't a piss up, it was a bite to eat and a couple of beers. It wasn't an all-day session. But then across the way where you'd never, all Celtic lads were out as well. And it was and they were having a laugh and a joke, and they were, you know, and I think that it says a lot. As again, I'm not saying you need to do it. It can be a golf day. It can be anything. It don't have to be an absolute piss up. And that. It's not that. It's just the fact that, and I think their togetherness was stronger than that had been for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But then again, as I said to you, you can't be seen out and about when you're losing titles and your rivals are, you know, winning the league by a dozen points or whatever. So you've got to be careful with that. But so that season, I think there was a culmination of everything. Bottom line is we got so far, but we lost a couple of key games right at the end.
Is that the biggest regret of your career, not getting it in?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think you always look back and say, as a manager, you certainly do pick certain games. Bradford, Millwall playoff final a couple of years ago, or Scotland, England, Wembley, could we play that game again? But I think the Rangers Kilmarnock game, the last home game for a lot of players, that was the last home game for many of us. And to finish on such a flat note was disappointing. So, yeah, I think that would go down. But I've always said you can't be greedy. When I joined, just after doing 3 in a row, it wouldn't have even got that. Big Haley scored 2 goals against Aberdeen. We get to 8 in a row, where Celtic only lose 1 game that season. So as much, I don't really have regrets. If I could play a game again, it'd be the Kilmarnock game. But I can't regret not getting a 10, because I was so honoured and so proud and so privileged and so lucky that we were in a side that got 9. And that's still up there as a record. Okay,
leaving Rangers, a year left on your contract, 1998. Was Dick Advocaat coming in one of the main reasons?
Yeah. No, not so much that. To be honest, I had a chat with the chairman. Dick had wanted me. I had a year left. He wanted me to stay. He wanted to keep that little bit of, experience that had been there and done it and seen Rangers through things. But I think with Walter going and Archie leaving, and obviously all the other lads, a lot of the lads, it was the end of an era. It was a team that had broken up. I didn't get kicked out. In fact, David Murray said to me, I think Hearts were interested in I think the club wanted 250 grand. He said, but if I go down to England, because of the service I'd give you, I'll let you go on a free. If you stay in Scotland, I need money for you. I can't let you go and play for another club. So that was that. But no, I think it was time for me to go. I remember the last game. Obviously, we get beat by Hearts, and we have a function at the end, and you can imagine it's the first season we've not won a trophy, and things are a bit down, and then you start reminiscing. You go around tables, and let's have a look at the things that we have won and what we have done. I remember me, Geraint and Coist going down to the dressing room for the last time, because they'd finished. No, I don't think Geraint and Coist had certainly finished. And having a look round, and I knew it was even though I had a year left, I knew this is it. I'd made my mind up in my head. That was it. And we all broke down in tears. And this was early part at night, and thought, do you know what? Fuck it. We can look back and be proud of what's happened. Yeah, we're disappointed this season. Yeah, we did something work, but let's have a look back. And we went back up and we went round everyone. We ended up having a sing-song and a sort of a look back at what had been done, and not that the failure that we'd just had.
Did you get Geraint out of the Sambuca again?
No. It wisened up then.
Right, since you've been inducted at the Rangers Hall of Fame, wow, how much does that mean to you?
I think that my debut for Scotland against Argentina, and that night, inducted into Hall of Fame, was probably my 2 proudest nights as a footballer, away from family life and that. They were probably 2 proudest nights. It was, the names that are there and the people that are in it, was, all my family were up. It was just obviously Coist to give me the award as well. It was a special, because, as I said, as a kid, I came to watch them. Family had been brought up, I'd been brought up supporting them. Had all the scarves since 1972 and everything, and so actually go play for them and be successful with them, and then to be inducted in the Hall of Fame was probably the proudest thing I've done as a footballer.
What a career! Great with your link as well for the Scotland part of the interview. What was your highlights looking back in your Scotland career? Italian 90, Euro 92, Euro 96, played in all 3.
Yeah, that was a quiz question, which was again quite proud of. The only British player to play in every minute of every game. So played in all 3, 92. 90 and 96, which is, I think when they did it one time as a quiz, and people, I guess Stuart Pearce or somebody else, but I was surprised myself.
So you got it wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't there. It was somebody told me it was a quiz question. I'm thinking, which clown was that? But no, I think the biggest, my debut, to play at Hampden in front of a full house against the world champions.
Your family there?
And beat them. Yeah, and I actually set it up. There was 4 debutants that night: Flecky, Craig Levine, Stuart McKimmie and myself. And I laid it for Stuart McKimmie, and he slashed it in the bottom corner. I remember Maradona, he didn't turn up. He says, I've heard the boy McCall's making his debut, I'm not going to come. that's what I told myself anyway. But so that night, to make your debut against world. So then, but the only thing is, then the Tartan Army think, well, you can beat the world champions, we're going to Italy, we're going to win a World Cup. So, but yeah, playing in the World Cup, obviously managed to score against Sweden. We had the biggest disappointment getting beat by Costa Rica, 1-0, and then going 4 days later playing in a European game, Scotland-Sweden. They had all the pretty boys in the tunnel. We had the ugliest tunnel, the ugliest team. In fact, I was probably one of the better looking ones in that team. Teeth out, Jim Leighton had his teeth out, thinking big Eck with his freckles and his mop of ginger hair, and we're all we fleck his teeth out. And again, that was probably one of the few games, all the games I played, I think that was one in the tunnel. Big Glenn Hussein at Liverpool, big immaculate model, didn't want to look at wee Flecky's like that. He just played in Norwich Liverpool not long before in the league game. But managed to score in that. It was always deadly from a yard. Honestly, give me anything from a yard out. And then I played 40 times for Scotland, only scored once. But as I tell my kids, it's true. If you score a World Cup, you don't want to bother scoring qualifying games and all that nonsense. Never got to another World Cup, so I thought, nah, I'm not scoring that.
See, out of the three teams, what was the best squad?
Oh, gosh, it mixed about. I mean, to be fair, in 90, we got beat by Brazil in the last game. 8 minutes to go, I think Careca shot. Big Jim sort of parried it out, and the boy Muller had just come on a sub, managed to score. And then we even went out on goal difference, because another group could have won it. So we managed to come back with a bit of pride after getting beat at Costa Rica. So the 90 team was all right. The World Cup was actually okay. The 92 Europe, we got beat by Holland 1-0, who had Van Basten, Hullet, the top side then, Rijkaard and Bergkamp. Them four got the goal. Then we played Germany, who beat us 2-0. And then we beat the CIS 3-0. So we actually came back on the back of a good result. We won. And the actual homecoming was not bad, because we'd done okay. And even in 96, the Holland game 0-0 at Villa Park, go to Wembley. Obviously, everyone says, Gary Mack missed the penalty. It's a great save by Seaman. You know what I mean? He puts it up there, he gets him cross. That could have been a different game. And then we go beat Switzerland in the last game. Again, so them three games, in each tournament, it wasn't as though we came home like national disgraces. We'd won a game at each tournament, and nearly but not quite. Again, if that's the old story, isn't it? England beat Holland 4-1, and they were winning 4-0. And if they'd won 4-0, we'd have gone through a goal difference. And the boy, I can't remember who went through, and put it through Seaman's legs. And 4-1.
See, when you played England, was you and Gascoigne giving each other a bit?
No. Again, Darren Jackson played with Gazza at Newcastle. Obviously Gazza was at our team at Rangers at the time. I wasn't one of them. Before the game, I went on a pitch, never spoke to anyone. I just focused on doing everyone's like high-fiving and speaking, which is natural. You see your mates. I just focused on the game. Anyway, coming off at half-time, going down at Wembley, and you go into concrete. Next minute, I thought there were a bit of trouble. I turned around, and Gazza's running off the park. Bear in mind, it was 0-0. And when the half-time whistle went, the crowd went, because we'd done okay, Scotland. They won a great game. Gazza takes his top off and gives it to me. Go like that. And goes into the dressing room. So I take his top he'd given me at half-time, put it in my bag, come out. Because that night, the night before, I'd mentioned on a sports show that my daughter, who was born in England, but she was obviously supporting the dad Scotland, but a Rangers supporter, wanted to be 3-all Gazza and her old man to get a hat-trick. Now, at that time, she wasn't on drugs or glue or drink or anything, but I see Gazza getting a hat-trick, her old man, I remember I could get 3 tackles, that'd be it. But he'd seen it, and because I said, and she'd asked me for his, no, I didn't even think, I asked him for his shirt, I didn't ask him for his shirt, but I said, Gazza, anyway, so he'd actually give me his shirt. End of game, comes, Gazza scores the unbelievable goal. But that's another story. Gary Mack's taking a penalty, the side of the technical area, Terry Venables, Gazza's numbers up to come off. Not many people know this. The board at the side, his numbers up. If we scored a penalty, Gazza's coming off. Penalty goes in, corner, bang, clear it. Gazza scores a goal of the tournament, an unbelievable goal that only an unbelievable player could score. And then after the game, he swaps jerseys with Coister. So we're going back up to our thing in the Midlands. And we're sat in the back of the bus, and if that, had we done that, we'd done this. Coister gets it, he says, at least I got Gazza's shirt. I says, how can you take somebody's shirt who scored a goal, who's actually knocked us out of... That's an absolute disgrace. I'm really laying into it. Lads are looking at him. He's going, Coister's only jealous because you didn't get it. I went, I didn't get it. I says, I got the fucking shirt he started with, and he didn't fucking score against us. That was it, you know what I mean? So, amazing. But no, so I did, but he was, and I'll be honest, if the shoe had been on the other foot, see, when he come in for pre-season, we won it, but he didn't even say anything. He was really humble. He didn't mention his goal or his celebrations. He was quite humble like that. Yeah. Whereas if McCoist, we'd have absolutely laid into him. But no, he was that's the type of person he was. But he was. So no, I never really had any thing against him on the park.
Only thing I want to ask you club-wise after Rangers, you know what it's going to be. Falling off the motor at Bradford. Was it the old Sam Booker trick?
No, it wasn't me. It was my twin brother Steve. Okay. Well, I've got again.
You said you wanted to play for Bradford in the Premier League, and you eventually done it.
So we go to Wolves, 1:30 kick-off on a Sunday. Need to win with 3-1, 3. Pete Began missed a penalty. Anyway, with 3-2, a few minutes to go, Boy Simpson gets it over the wall, hits inside the post. See when you need that little bit of luck, goes into the goalie's hands, we get through. So after the game, Wolves were one of these clubs that still had their little single baths. So there were about 6 single baths, showers. And the old ones, me, Windass, Peter Beagrie, Gary Walsh, John Dreyer, all sat in these single baths, reminiscing, bubble baths, just looking. Young lads want to shower quickly out and get a few beers or whatever. We're just at Wolves. And see when we must have had I must have had a bottle of champagne, you know, and you know the story, if you don't eat after you drink on an empty head. So we get on the bus, 2 hours back up to Bradford, a few beers, and I was actually on a minibus for about 20 minutes, and because we're in this car park, and the fans are all just round, and they can't see you, so you're up, and everybody's the same. And just at the second, this guy decides to get his camera out, I get on this motor, my twin brother gets on this motor, and it's, honestly, obviously they had a couple of shandies, but my trainer gets lodged under the windscreen wiper, and this is gospel, honestly. People, and thankfully I've got one clip of it. My trainer gets lodged on the windscreen wiper, and I go bang, bang, and then jump up, and I never spilt a drop. But you know, people go, you know, I say honestly, and a fucking windscreen. And do you know the funny thing is, the club got a bill for 360 quid for a dented roof.
The motor, didn't he?
I didn't pay it. That's for sure.
Have you had to live with that for it since?
Well, it's from because that was about 8 o'clock. But see, when it got to midnight, I don't know. You see that saying? You drink yourself sober. I was the only player still there at 1 o'clock. It's celebrating with all the fans and the families and everything. And the next morning, we've got a open top bus around Bradford, you know. So I'm there getting ready in the morning. Dog goes, so I'll get Sky Sports on. No, he says, how are you? Okay, I says, hi, great. He says, oh yeah, they've got you falling off the motor. And I honestly handed him, I says, what motor? Who fell off a motor? I'm like, out my neck's like that. I says, who fell off a motor? Is that how I got that? I'd not put Sky Sports on, there it is, this clown falling. But yeah, so the advice is don't drink on an empty head.
There you go, brilliant. Right, on to the old management. Motherwell job. How did it come about?
Listen, I just got a phone call. I got a couple of dodgy agents working up here for me in Scotland, and they got in touch.
Oh, I know the very man I had. Yes, very dodgy.
But I got a phone call. She said, would you fancy? Was it the Aberdeen job? The Aberdeen job. Aberdeen job came up. I went, no, I don't think being an ex-Rangers player going to Aberdeen would. So I says, no, I don't think Aberdeen. Right, okay. Then, what about the under-21s, Scotland under-21s? I said, well, I might go because, you know, because Billy Stark could have been going to Aberdeen because Aberdeen had lost the manager. Anyway, so Billy Stark didn't. Then Craig and Archie left Motherwell, go to Aberdeen. He says, what about Motherwell? He says, the speech is 16th of December. I says, well, do you know something? I've never had an interview in my life. I'm actually coming up with Christmas presents on the 16th from England to deliver. I says, I'll call in and have the interview. So I come up and meet John Boyle and Leanne in the office, just in Glasgow. Just don't bring any, the boards and all that stuff. Just chat. 16th of December, right, brilliant. So go back to England. They play Hearts, they get beat. 26th, they're playing Rangers. They've not heard for 10 days. And they're playing Rangers at Boxing Day. And Rangers beat them 2-1, I think, at Fir Park. And that's it. Anyway, I got a call the next day. Would you want to come up? Oh, would you want to do a conference call? Link. I said, no, listen, I'll drive up and speak to them, but I don't want to do a conference call. If they want to see me, I'll see me. It's great. So I came up on, I think it was the 28th, 29th, and met at DL Park, somewhere around there, met at hotel, and they offered me the job. And then the same night, they were playing Celtic. And I went to Celtic Park. Celtic scored after 3 minutes. I think, this is going to be long. They only won 1-0 Celtic. Motherwell done actually okay. And I got offered the job there. And yeah, we went on to have, brilliant success. And it was a really special time in management. Getting first time we got a Scottish Cup final in 20 odd years, and then finishing the best of the rest for 3 years on top with, a budget wasn't even a top 6 budget.
Did you take that straight away, or did it take you a while?
No, we got in there, me and Kenny. I didn't know Kenny Black, so I met Kenny after a month in, brought Kenny up with us to the end of the season, see how we work, and it just clicked. They had a good professional. I always say your football club's as good as your senior professionals. We had Stephen Cragen, Lasley, Hamill at the time, Big Sutton. We had some really good pros in that dressing room, and good young players as well. Your Murphys and your Sean Hutchinsons and like that. And then we added, so the first season we get the Scottish Cup, we finished. The remit when I took the job was to try to finish in the top 6 and sell a player each season. So I think we just managed to, we finished second and third, which was, incredible.
So how do you do that with that budget? As you say, how do you finish second and third with that group?
It's just, I don't know, it's just getting that team spirit, having that team, and having that little bit of
did you encourage team days out and stuff like that? Would you do stuff?
Yeah, I think you let the dressing room run themselves, but just I think for the moment, you create an environment that the players, not only the players, but the staff want to come in to train every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's peeing it down, cold, if they want to come in, learn, improve, and ultimately succeed, that's what we're after. And I think you've got to create an environment that training, you're learning, but you're enjoying it. When you're learning things, but you're actually having a bit of fun when you're doing it, and you're working hard and you're improving, and then you get results, and then you're fortunate that, like in anything, we could almost name the similar 11, 12, 13 each week, because we were lucky with injuries. And then you get a consistency selection, consistency in results, and you just build from there, and you get a top 6, which we managed, get a cup final, and the next year we just got it going, and it was, and I think somebody said more successful Motherwell manager for many a year, like win ratio and all that. So, I look back on that and think, so lucky to get that opportunity, and it was brilliant.
Is the hardest part when you lose your best player of the year?
Yeah, of course. Well, the third season we were there, we lost 7 stars. We brought Michael Igden in from St Mirren. We sold him for 300. Oh, we didn't actually. His contract was up. He won the Golden Boot. There's no player outside the old firms won the Golden Boot for years, and he celebrated that night. I think he ended up getting arrested. So do we advocate culture, drinking culture? Yeah. How did you celebrate? Well, I had 12 hours in a cell. But so that and then, but we lost Higden, we lost the Yarmouth, we lost Murphy, we lost Lort at Rangers, we lost Randolph, the keeper. We lost 7 of starters. And then the next season, people were saying, listen, you can't go anymore. You can't do any more. You've got to get out and, try. I support Sheffield United, could have gone to Sheffield United. I just felt a bit of loyalty to Motherwell because they'd give me the chance. And we tried to build a new team. And the new team wasn't good as the first team, but it ended up, we won more points. We won 70 points after getting 63 the year before. So that season when Reedy...
I know Reedy.
Reedy. He was on £1 a week, but he also... because we took him in January, we couldn't give him, he had no money for a contract, you have to give him something, give him £1, he got, I think, 200 expenses, 200 day appearance, and if they won, 200 a point, so they were getting 800 quid if we were in team. We never thought Reedy would get near the team, but he was a good squad player. But he actually was great, his attitude.
Playing centre midfield,
centre midfield, right back, wherever. Yeah. Just really good, do a job, take somebody out. And for him to score the goal at Aberdeen with almost the last kick of the game, earning £1 a week, just sort of summed up that collective. And it was, that was probably, I've been fortunate to have a lot of good coach strips back home from games.
Jack Leach taught us
but that was probably the best. And then the lads went to the Player of the Year that night, and the staff went to Magaluf for 3 days the day after, and 3 of the boys flew out to join us, and it was incredible. And in fairness, I probably should have gone then. We couldn't have done any more. But the thing at the back of my mind that was pushing me on, we need to do better in the cup. We'd seen some of the other sides, St Mirren, other sides win the cup. I thought we can have one more crack at the cup. We didn't start off great, a few key injuries. And I just felt at the time it was time to come out and give somebody else a chance. I think when you've been there so long, the players get used to the voice. I think 4.5 years, I think, was there. And you can outstay your welcome. So I think I went at the right time.
The big question every Motherwell fan wants to know is, did you ever go to the Mega Bar?
Yes. No, I didn't. I went to the Electric Bar.
I went to the
Electric Bar a couple of times after. I think we beat St John's in the semi-final 3-0, and some of the staff took me down there. So
great times.
Yeah, I didn't make the Mega Bar, no, but my lad did. We used to play for Motherwell, so he won me out of it.
Great place. Right, taking over at Rangers. When did you get the phone call? Who phoned you up?
Yeah, listen, I got
Jim White
a call.
again?
No, I got a call right out of the blue from John Gilligan, actually, and I went and met him in a hotel in Glasgow one afternoon, and I'm for half an hour, and he just says, listen, we need some help. Listen, obviously, Coyce had been there under a really tough regime, you know, what he was working under and what Kenny took over, didn't want to be there, you know me, he would wanted to leave. And Kenny left, and I think it was 3 months left at season. So did I, for one second, there's some, I think somebody mentioned one stage, a Motherwell spot, or he left Motherwell because he knew he was going to Rangers. That couldn't have been the furthest thing from the truth, because I would never have gone back to Rangers if it had been under the old regime. But it was fresh board, new people. I met John, come in the end of the season, see if he can help us out. And that, you know, so there was no debate. I didn't talk money or anything. Go home and think about it. Now, I didn't know if he was speaking to 3 or 4 players, managers. Yeah. So I left at, 3 o'clock that afternoon. And at 6 o'clock I got a call and says, can you come in tomorrow and take the training? So I was on the phone to Kenny Black. Kenny Black drove up, bang, and we took the training the next day. So, yeah, it was a whirlwind. But I've got to say, I went in the club, and I think I've been in the game, what am I now, 54. Been in the game 30 whatever years it is, and I've never known a club as morale as low, an atmosphere. You know, from people that work there, Jimmy Bell, from a couple of the staff in the kitchen, people walking down, and that's what had happened. Rangers just, I think the players, you know, the animosity they had from the supporters had almost, you know, it was a horrendous season, everything off the park, things that were going on behind the scenes. It was the environment. And I think that's what I said to the staff. The key is, you've got to get the best out you got. There's no transfer window. We've got these players, you've got to get the best out. They're low in confidence, the morale's at the bottom, the supporters aren't really, they're behind the club, but not really behind the players. We've got to do something to change it. So we went out there and we smashed Livingston 1-1, and then the next game we went out and we battered Alloa 2-2, and we've made a really good start. I think against Alloa they had 2 shots and 2 goals. We had 36 shots and scored twice. So we hadn't really got the bounce we wanted when we got 28,000 there. So we go to Hibs on the Sunday, and we look at what we've got, and you know, Zaliukas at the back, Big Mojne, and Big Jig, Big Lee McCulloch. And although they've all been really good players, none of them had a lot of pace. So we decided to go back 3. Bearing in mind the 3 games Hibs had played Rangers, Hibs were 9-1 up. Hibs had beat Rangers 3 games, 9-1 in them games. Played Waldo left wing back, McGregor right wing back, 5-3-2. We won 2-0. And that sort of changed the whole... The fans then started getting behind the players and having belief in it. That result, you talk about results that can change things, that result changed a lot. Then we had a really good run. I think in the league, in the games that we had, we lost it to Queen of South 3-0, and that was the only game we got beat in the league. We beat Hearts at home. Hearts were the champions. We clapped them on, and then we beat them 2-1. Jid got sent off with 45 minutes to go, and then to go into the playoffs, people were even thinking you won't even get by Queen of South, because we were playing Little Murdoch, you know, a young kid,
Andy Murdoch,
Andy Murdoch, which. He was probably our most consistent player. I was really disappointed the year after that they brought a couple of loans in, because I thought Andy Murdoch could have been one that could have been given a chance because he was terrific. Tom Walsh, he had a lot of injuries. Probably the best 2-footed player I've coached as a kid, left foot and right foot. Ryan Hardy up top. So we're playing young ones, but we were trying to get the best out of what we had. And then we go to Queen of South, we win 2-1. Drawn with it at home. But then you're looking, you're going out, and Ibrox is full again. And the atmosphere. So that was the key for me, was changing the actual mindset of people and getting results. But you can only do that with results. But you've got to try to give confidence to the players, and then we get Hearts, Hibs, should I say. Hibs have had these 10 days off, they're away in La Manga or whatever it is, not celebrating, relaxing, preparing. And again, the atmosphere against Hibs, we beat them 2-0. Kenny Miller got a great goal, I think Vukic scored. We got to Easter Road, just need not to get beat by more than that. I think they scored later on in injury time, 1-0, and we through then to the playoff final, which was from where we were to there was brilliant, and then I loved every second of that.
See, just going back to when you first went in, Did you speak to Ally McCoist before you took over?
Do you know, I didn't speak to Coyce. I spoke to him a lot when he was in the job because I did a lot of work for BT. But then Coyce had gone out, and as I said, when I went in, I met John at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 6 o'clock that night I got offered the job. So I was straight in. But I remember being in the office the first morning, and someone says, "There's a call for you." Big office phone, big shit. "Hello, it's Walter. Do you fucking know what you've let yourself in for?" Honestly, yeah. "Cheers, Gaffer, thanks for that." He says, "Do you fucking know what you let?" I said, "Gaffer," he says, "No, listen, you've got to have a crack at it and, you know, give me a bit of advice on certain things." And again, for me, it was trying to change the mindset. It had been so... The players had been, you know, booted everywhere and not performed like they should maybe, and the staff, the morale of the whole club, you know, supporters, everything was down. So it was good to sort of turn that around, and then, you know, we had some... I'd still look back on beating Hearts at home, you know, going away at Hearts, drawing, whatever, beating Hibs, still some good moments.
Can you still get the buzz of managing Rangers when the Rangers that you remember?
You can when you get back on the touchline, and you've then back to you've full house, because we went in at 28,000, I think, and then for the playoff games, the games just at the end, Hearts, I think 40,000. When you get that and everyone's behind you, there's no better place to play.
And then obviously you get Motherwell. You couldn't write it, could you?
Oh, I had the chance when I was out of work to go to another club in Premier League in Scotland, and I turned it down because I didn't want, because they were near the lower ends of the division. I didn't want to go in and be up against Motherwell, and obviously I wanted to succeed, and that'd mean putting Motherwell down. So as the season was going on, obviously we were trying to get into the playoffs. Rangers, we were going to try to do there. There were never any gimmies or guarantees, and Motherwell were. So worst case scenario, obviously they finish 11th, and whoever gets through. So we managed to beat Hibs, and we get Motherwell. And I think the thing going into the game, I knew all the players, obviously, Motherwell. I think the two things, Motherwell didn't have a good record at Ibrox. In fact, they had a pretty poor record at Ibrox. And the mentality, Stevie Hamill had been there a lot and got beat, Keith Lasley had been there and got beat. A lot of the players had been to Ibrox and not had any success. And also that season, Motherwell's away form was terrible. So the first games at Ibrox, full house, it was so important. Stress to the lads, listen, it's a two-leg, but if we get the first goal, I think for the first 28 minutes, 30 minutes, probably first 35 minutes, I think Motherwell were in our penalty box once. So, but Rangers, we didn't have great chances. Nicky Law had a chance. We were controlling the game, and the game was going okay. And then in football, it changes. Lee Irwin, boy I'd give his debut to, goes down the right-hand side, cuts in, shot. Cammy Bell would actually throw his cap on it, deflects off, I think it might be McGregor, and loops in over his shoulder. So you're 1-0 down after controlling the game. And from Motherwell's game plan would have been keep the crowd quiet, get the first goal. From our first goal is get the first goal and they'll crumble, because, you know, their away record's not great. But Scott McDonald, they had McManus, Big Steve, they had a lot of experience in the side, Pearce, they had a good side, Motherwell. And then just before half-time, free kick, Big McManus, who I brought to the club, header, set play, didn't jump with him. So you come in at half-time, 2-0, bang, bang. Right, let's go out, get the next goal, we still win this. 3 minutes in, Lionel Ainsworth, who had brought as a free transfer from Lower England, comes up, scores a worldie, 3-0 down, and you're thinking, in that space of 20 minutes, all the work that had been done had been all unravelled. We get a goal just before the end, 3-1. We go to Fir Park, imperative there, you've got to get first goal. You know,
did you think you could still do it going to Fir Park?
I thought, again,
just their experienced players, it's hard there.
Yeah, they're going to sit in, and they did decide they were a nothing game. It's 0-0 at half time. We brought Boydie back in, we've got Boydie and Kenny up front. You think with the goals in, if we can create opportunities, because we needed goals, we had to play an attacking side. And but we didn't look like scoring. And obviously they get a goal, Cammy, you know, loses his balance and falls into the goal, and they get the goal, and from then on it's but in fairness, Motherwell were quite comfortable. I can't blame Cammy for the goal, although obviously in there he's just stumbled. But I if I'm honest, I didn't see us getting back into the game. We didn't create anything, and I think Motherwell, when you actually looked at the team and the experience they had, once they took that lead into the second leg,
so it was going to be
they had enough experience to sit in, camp in, and just play like that.
Right, Big Moshney. I played against him at Southend, and people that I've spoke to said during the week, lovely guy, just loses his head on a football pitch. Yeah. What do you remember of that incident?
listen, I had loads of things going through my mind after the game, obviously disappointment. And I got asked, what did I think of the Mosney incident? I said, listen, I didn't see it. And obviously then 5 minutes later or later on in the picture, you see me trying to pull Mosney away. What I said, I didn't see the initial incident. I'm shaking hands with the Motherwell people, turning round, next minute there's a big kerfuffle, I was running around, so I run on and try to pull Big Billy away from what he was doing. But I looked in it because I didn't see it. I was playing the Arsene Wenger card, but actually I didn't see the initial thing. I just rung on the end when he was like swailing and failing everybody. And he come and he sat in the dressing room and he was, listen, it wasn't about him, it was about us as a group because, we've just, failed at what we were trying to do. Anyway, cut long story short, he goes out and we get on the bus and there's a bit more carry on. But listen, as a person, I loved him. He'd give all his training. We'd have him have to change training a couple of times for him because he had to go to prayers certain times, certain times a day and that like that. But you always knew there was a switch on him. Yeah, you always knew. But he was good. He was as in his training. He never gives us a minute's place, and we used to have a good little bit of banter about him. He had a funny side to him.
Would you like to stay done at Rangers?
No, of course. Yeah. Listen, I think whoever was getting the job at the end of the season, it was a blank slate because there were 12 of the lads were up, and I think out of them there was only Kenny that got kept on. Out of the lads that were out of contract, there were some big hitters, and there was so you were taking there was a lot of money going to be freed up, and it was a blank slate.
Had you had ideas of what you would have done?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at it, obviously Big Jig left, Billy left, Zaliukas left. A central defence was going to be a key area in the park, but I still believed, depending on how much money was going to be there. You had somebody like Tom Walsh, you had Little Murdoch, you had Ryan Hardy, not as stars, but you had a little nucleus of younger ones who could come through and be ranging for and be players, allied to some other players. But yeah, you always had an idea. I think we certainly needed to strengthen defensively, and then work around. You still had some, you had Lee Wallace and Kenny Miller in there who knew what it was, but you needed some experienced players. There were some that were put to me that I would love to come because it's Rangers. You see it now, Stephen Davis coming up today. There were players who would want it to come and played. So yeah, and I also thought, listen, at the end of it, it was always going to be a fresh start. So they needed a fresh manager. And
did you try and fight for the job, or were you just told that?
Listen, I had an interview. I think it was the day after the playoffs, and it was one of them. But I think as things transpired, it was boiling down. Funny enough. And again, Gordon Strachan, when I got the Rangers job, I rung him up and he was on the golf course in La Manga, and he'd had 3 missed calls, and he says, listen, I take it you've been, he says, 3 missed calls for you to call me, I take it you've been offered the Rangers job. I says, after I am. He says, well, listen, he says, what is it, 10 of the season? He says, yeah. He said, well, I hope you're successful and you get it. He says, but, I said, between now and then, we've got Northern Ireland in a friendly and Gibraltar in a qualifier. He says, I'm sure me and Mark can get us through that. He says, so at the end of the season, if Rangers, it doesn't come about, you can come back to the national side, which is, it's fair enough, isn't it? You're thinking, well, I'm actually leaving. You've given me a role in Scotland. I'm leaving to take Rangers, and you're saying there's a place for me. So, as it transpires, the end of the season comes, my contract finished at Rangers, but they were still in negotiation. They'd spoke to a couple of people. And then, as it happened, Scotland, before the Ireland game over in Ireland in June, was staying at Mar Hall, and Dave King were there. So I had a meeting, an hour's meeting. God knew about it. I had a meeting with Dave King, what needed doing, what needed changing at Rangers, in my opinion, if I was going to come out, what players you would bring in, what was the budget, blah, blah, blah. So a big discussion there. And it went on, and there was rumours that Mark Warburton, who was the favourite, was possibly, there was all stories that Dick Advocaat was going to leave Sunderland, Dyche was going to go to Sunderland, Warburton was going to go to Burnley, and the role was still there. So you're actually thinking, there still could be this small chance. Didn't expect it, but there's still a chance. Anyway, Dick decides to stay at Sunderland. So Dyche stays at Burnley. I think Mark had spoke to Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds. So there were rumour that he still wanted to stay in England. But obviously, Davy Weir talked him, come play Rangers. And then it was funny because I remember going home a couple of months after it, and my missus went, what about that wee Dick? I says, what wee dick? He says, that wee dick at Sunderland. I says, oh, the Dick Advocaat. He's gone and chucked it 2 months in a job. Why did he chuck it in summer? If he chucks it in the summer, you might have had a chance to still be there. I went, oh, fair play. But no, that's just the little things. But listen, after what had happened in the playoffs, I couldn't expect it. But I look back, and I look back on my 3 months, myself and Kenny and that, with a bit of pride, because we turned it round. We got a little bit of belief. We got the crowds coming back. And, you know, but for, you know, I say the 20-minute spell against Motherwell at Ibrox, you always look back in defining moments in your career, be as a player. But I've been so fortunate as a player for limited ability to play at the clubs I had. And then, you know, you always need a little bit of luck in life. And unfortunately, that's against Motherwell. But on the flip side, Motherwell stay up and, you know, you see the lads afterwards and know what it meant to them, because there was a lot of people, staff would have lost their jobs if Motherwell they got relegated.
As well,
yeah, a lot of good people. Motherwell were a tight-knit community, tight-knit club, but a great little club, fantastic club, and I liked working for the people that were there. But they also had a good group of players.
Went to Bradford, done really well. Just left Scunthorpe now, looking to get back in it.
Yeah, but not straight away. Not straight away. It's a hard gig management. I've got to say now.
Stressful.
Because it can be. Sunday's the longest day in the world when you lose, but when you win, you work all week. I just enjoy working with players. So I'd like to go out on a Monday to Friday, whatever it is, and work with players and try to help them, improve them, put plans in there, formations and all together. And on a Saturday when it comes together, no better feeling. When you lose, it's a long weekend. But no, I've still got the. But you just know it's a short-term job now. Management. There's no longevity unless you're Guardiola or someone like that.
Sure, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. We'll do it again next week.
Definitely.
All right.